Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Feeling heavy? Well, that's because we got a football-heavy show for you here on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. Hi, everybody. Welcome on this Wednesday. I'm really happy about it. We have a Braylon's Breakdown at 3 o'clock. We also have, at the quarter pole mark, the top seven Detroit Lions. We're playing right now. It doesn't mean it's they're the best Lions. It's what they've done. Can I call it the quarter pole even though it's 17 games? Okay, thank you.
This is the old school. It used to be the quarter mark. 4 games out of 16, now it's 17 games. So we'll keep the honorary.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm blessed. I'm very excited about this one. I think we've all been talking about a particular Detroit Lion for a very long time. In fact, since the 4th game last season, or excuse me, 5th game last season. Well, this guy's back on track, and I'm excited to break down why Aiden Hutchinson will not only be the comeback player of the year, he's also going to be the defensive player of the year. You alluded to it yesterday. His odds are the best. They started the year the best, had a little rough patch in there, and now they're back to the best. We're going to break down why he's gotten back, what it looked like, the timeline itself, but then why he'll be the defensive player. Because it's not all about him.
No.
It's the team as well.
Yeah, agreed. He doesn't play against Myles Garrett.
No.
Jared Goff doesn't play against Jordan Love or Lamar Jackson. But do you think players measure themselves against other players at that position when they're playing in games like that?
Yeah, 100%. So in 2007, person with most touchdowns in the NFL that year, Randy Moss. This is the year he breaks the touchdown record, 23 touchdowns, breaks the record. That same season, you know who finished second in the league in touchdowns? It was yours truly. It was 16. That game, every game, once I started getting on the trajectory to where I'm cooking with Reese, I had some touchdowns, I got some yards and stats to back it. I didn't care that
Here's what I'm going to do. Sorry to interrupt you. I want you to grab the wireless mic if you can. If you guys could give him a wireless mic, that microphone is not working, and you've got some great insight that I'm asking questions, and I think people want to know the answers to them. By the way, during the Braylon Edwards Show, as we did yesterday, we will keep you up to date on the Tigers game.
we're good. It's unplugged.
Well, yeah, that's
Is
okay.
it back on? Is it
So
good? Can you
it's
hear
back
me?
on. Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
great. So let's go back to that. And it's a 1-0 game, Cleveland. Tell me if you're playing against, you just told the Randy Moss story.
Right.
Okay.
I guess so. They wouldn't have heard anything I said about Aiden at the breakdown or anything. None of that happened.
Yeah, probably, and that could be
It-
my
it
fault
was
too, because I was
phantom.
clapping so heavily over it. But he's going to tell you why Aiden Hutchinson is the comeback player of the year and maybe the defensive player of the year. We'll get into that. His top 7, my top 7 Lions, and his breakdown at 3 o'clock. But the fact that Aiden Hutchinson had such a good game. I love Myles Garrett, but does he measure himself against Myles Garrett even though they're not playing against one another?
Everybody's different, but in the competition level is the same when you're talking NFL professionals. That that natural competition level, it just oozes out of you. So in 2007, the person with the most touchdowns in the league was Randy Moss. He had 23. He broke Jerry Rice's record of 22. Side note: Jerry Rice did that in 10 games, but that's neither here nor there. So. Who finished second that season? Well, it was me with 16 touchdowns. We played them that year. So you played Randy. I cared nothing about what Randy had done before that. I cared anything about what he was going to be. At that particular time, going into that game, I wanted to make sure I played within the game. But you have an opportunity to make a play, you're thinking about it. If I make this play, if I have this, I make this big catch, I'll finish the game with more yards, more touchdowns, etc. So a level of that is true. When you're playing against fellow colleagues, when you're playing against guys that people mention in conversation. I'm not saying that was the case that year.
Sure.
And I'm not saying like that. But when you mention Myles Garrett, you mention T.J. Watt, you're now mentioning Aiden Hutchinson, you're mentioning Micah Parsons. So, yes, when you have an opportunity to play a game against those guys, Aiden will not line up. He will not line up against any of those guys. But you're looking at what that looks like. Trey Hendrickson is a guy, in my estimation, that has been rumored to come here how many times? Trey Hendrickson was the guy, he'd be good on the other side. Yeah, he's 17 and a half. He's 17 and a half. He's one of those names. You think Aiden has a little bit like, I'll show you something this game.
I'm sure Trey Hendrickson feels the same way since he doesn't have the big payday yet.
Right.
And he wasn't highly touted like some of the other ones. So basically what you're telling me, when Amon-Ra St. Brown comes out and says there were 16 receivers taken ahead of me, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, just to name a few.
Or Draymond Green. Like, that's a real thing. You name those guys because the competition level comes out.
Right.
And I'm not talking about one person's competition level versus another. But when it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I know that competition level is there. I know he thinks about that when he's playing in the game against Philly. He will be watching what A.J. Brown does. Like, if Michael Evans was playing, he'd be watching what Mike Evans does. Cincinnati, this would be a chance for him to compare himself against the best.
Maybe he was comparing himself against Rashad Bateman, since Bateman was taken ahead of him in that same
He was, and until he wasn't.
Yeah.
You are
and now it's flipped.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. St. Brown got the big contract, and rightfully so. Yeah. He has earned that. Based on NFL standards, he's earned it. Do you think a guy like Bateman in Baltimore it measures himself against a guy who used to measure himself against him and prove everybody, I'm going to prove you wrong?
I think Rashad Bateman's just happy to have a job. And he's trying to operate at the highest level that he can when Lamar Jackson finds him, which in game 2 was a lot. But I'll give you a quick story, synopsis. Vince Jackson, who played for the San Diego Chargers, obviously now they're the Los Angeles Chargers, but he played for San Diego Chargers and he played for Tampa. He was in my same draft class out of North Colorado, I want to say. I think it was Northern Colorado. He goes in the 4th round. And we see each other. I went 3rd overall. He goes in the 4th round. We see each other at the rookie symposium. And the first thing he did was come up to me. He was like, "You shouldn't have went before me." I was like, "Well, prove it."
What?
Like, I didn't, but I didn't let the comment bother me. I just simply said, "Well, prove it." That's how I always sell things. Well, prove it. We won't have to get into a back and forth about who's better. You went to Northern Colorado, I went to Michigan. Case closed. But I said, prove it. He had more yards than me and more touchdowns. His career was more in the NFL. But once again, it's not about when you go. It's where you go. He had played with Phillip Rivers and some really good quarterbacks. But that's real. That's how he came up to me. He chose to test his mettle, and I guarantee you every time he put up numbers, in the back of his mind, told Braylon he wasn't better than me. So it's a real deal.
Did you ever play against him?
I did.
Okay. Did you ever talk to him about, not that you exchanged jerseys after games today, but did you guys ever talk about that incident and him measured? No, okay.
Because I don't know.
Once he said it, okay.
I'm a different cat. Like I took, when he said it, he needed to say it. I feel he needed to say it. It wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't bother me. He's had a good career since. He was a nice person. Like I didn't take it. It was, so when I played against him, it was like, oh, good to see you. Hope everything's well. Hope you make it through the season 100%. That's kind of like the conversation after games with me. Hey, good to see you. If you catch me, because I try to get into the locker room to ultimately get to the crib.
What about you going into college? If guys were rated ahead of you, which some were at your position,
yes,
going to college, did you do something similar?
100%. Reggie Williams was originally going to the University of Michigan. He was going to be the receiver, number 1 5-star in my class. He was the same year he was in. He had already committed to the University of Michigan. In the last second, maybe like October, November, he decommitted to Michigan. And then instead, Michigan offered me the scholarship. I took it, wanted to go to the University of Michigan. Every time I saw Reggie Williams, whether it was on the field, whether it was looking at stats, I was comparing myself to him. Like I was who's doing what? First time we played him, freshman year, I go out to Seattle, beautiful stadium. I didn't play much that game, played maybe 7-8 snaps, didn't have any catches, didn't have any targets. Reggie started, he had 125 yards on 6 catches, and he dominated. So now that was my marker. I said, this is marker. Shoot, the guy's real. I had to tip my cap to number 1 and figure out how to be able to get to that space because he was cooking with some grease. Every time I saw Charles Rogers, had to test my mettle against number 1 for Michigan State, or Lee Evans from Wisconsin, or Mike Jenkins from Ohio State. Every time I played against one of those guys,
good names, man.
It's who's going to have the big game, but also who's going to have the big game within the game. That's like an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown wants to have more yards than whatever receiver that he plays against. He wants to make sure you know that he's number one. But he's not going to mess the game up to do it. He's not going to press to do it. He's not going to try to do something outside the norm of what the play calling is. He does it within the game.
How does it change from when you were chasing them and then suddenly it's the other way around? They're chasing you. Does it change your mindset at much?
It's a good feeling, but I think that's when the real ones dial in. When it flips, those are the ones that can become great. Those are the ones that takes it up a notch. It's like, all right, cool. I was chasing, now I'm the chase. Mm-hmm. It's like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, not comparing our careers. His is way better after 5 years, but he was chasing. He was chasing to show you he deserved to get drafted higher. He was chasing to show you that he deserved to be a number one wide receiver. He was chasing to show you that he deserved to be a featured number one wide receiver. Then last year he was chasing that you should know he deserved that bread he got. That became the chase. And now the chase is, I got my money. I've done everything I'm supposed to. I'm the best guy in the league. Like, I don't want to hear any more about the potential and the talent. And
so he moves the goalposts a little bit, doesn't he? He's like, okay,
100%.
These are the 16 guys taken ahead of me. I'm going to show everybody I'm better than those 16. Like I said, 3 of those guys pretty tough. But and then once he establishes himself, he finds it's almost like a gold.
The great ones.
Yeah, the great ones.
The great ones do. And he's entering that space where that's the word you can use for him. And what he's done so far is continuously moving the goalposts back so I can get better. He's done all those things. Year 1, got to be a starter. That happened by game 6. Now I got to be the guy, the number one guy. That happened at the end of year 1. Year 2, he's the guy. Now he's scoring touchdowns. Now he's got the yards. Now he's got the stats. Now he's got the Pro Bowls. Now he's got where people see it. Now people see it. They know. People know to turn on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So if you are elite, you'll put Penei Sewell.
Oh, yeah.
Penei Sewell. You've seen the strides that he's taken each year. Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
You see the strides that he's trying to take. Last year, Aiden Hutchinson, the guy we'll be talking about today. You saw the strides last year to start the season. And you're seeing them yet again. Here we are in Game 4.
I really think that's one of the more encouraging signs for Lions fans.
Yeah.
Okay, like somebody in the chat said, we're the best team in the NFC North, back-to-back North Division champions. Show some respect. They are back-to-back. I think he's
Speaking
just saying that in general. But seriously, I mean that when you see, let's just call it draft and develop, because it seems like every team in this city is drafting and developing. Okay. When you see the draft that the Lions have and how they've developed and how they are getting better, that might be the most encouraging sign besides the wins and besides the numbers associated with them. Perhaps the most encouraging sign really is the fact that Detroit, their young players, continue to get better. I don't know what the ceiling is for Penei Sewell, but that's the beauty of what they're doing right now with these young guys, I think.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about it is, like, we don't know what the ceiling is because there may not be one. I think, like Brad Holmes is drafting these players.
That's interesting, isn't it?
100%. I think Brad Holmes is drafting players to where you initially put a cap on. There was a cap on Penei Sewell, a left tackle who was 19 years old, who didn't play his senior year. He gets drafted. He's super young. They move his position to right tackle. After once again not playing for a year, you had an expectation of what that ceiling looked like. Aiden Hutchinson, a lot of people didn't even want him as a number 2 pick. There were a lot of other players, and I'll be honest, I was one of them. There was another player that I chose in that draft. So his ceiling, I think he might be a Jared Allen type player. That's what the conversation was. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, so
yeah. What would be wrong with that?
True, but I'm just saying, like, but that's an expectation. There was some gaps in Jared Allen's game. There was some things that Jared Allen couldn't do. What I'm saying is they put a ceiling on him. They put a ceiling on Jahmyr Gibbs. He was like, why did you draft a running back? You drafted a running back. You moved up to draft him. Well, he was a kick returner. He's not even a starting running back. He doesn't know. So it was a ceiling on your expectation for what we thought or what you thought the proverbial these players would be. Now you're watching them over these years. Now you're watching them be player developed by one of the best developing teams in the NFL, which is the Lions, and coached by Dan Campbell, who should start to get some credit as being a damn fine coach of the league. I don't know what the hesitation is as it relates to him, but it may not be a ceiling. Like Penei Sewell, like, he's the best offensive lineman in the game. Yeah. Was that the thought in 2020?
No, because he had missed the year.
But also,
but
then they also put him at a position that they were going to move him from. He's not the best player playing at the position that they drafted him to play. He's the best player in the league, period, across the offensive line, not even playing the position that he was drafted to play.
Right. So. Yeah. Were you a goal setter, a short-term, long-term, both? when you played?
Both.
Or in life?
Both. Yeah, I knew what I wanted.
Why is that
to
important, do you think?
Because my dad kind of instilled that into me, like setting goals. Stepfather as well, so shout out to CP. When you set goals for yourself, it allows you to grow. It allows you to adapt. It allows you to mature as a person, whatever these goals are for, whether it's life, whether it's academics, whether it's sports, whether it's family. Like when you set goals and what I want to do and you achieve these goals, you have to set more, but you become a better person. Whether that's a better father, whether that's a better wide receiver, whether that's a better CEO of your company, it allows you to become more. They're very important in life.
I think that's really good stuff. I've always been a short-term and long-term goal setter. Just out of curiosity, before we hit a break here, and we're going to talk about Dan Campbell when we come back. Who was the player you wanted instead of Aiden Hutchinson? Was it Kayvon Thibodeau?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay.
Like, for sure.
Okay. Not that he's a bad player, because he's a really good player too.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Aiden Hutchinson that people didn't like. Like, what is it? We all have different criteria.
Yeah.
What is it he didn't prove against high-level competition? We talked about moving the goalposts. I think people move the goalposts for him.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see you do it here. I want to see. Then when he does it all, it's like, yeah, it's still not good enough for him, even though you set the goalposts in the first place. So tell me, what is it we had against him and didn't believe in him?
I think it was a mixture of things. I think a lot of people don't like the University of Michigan, and this is not me trying to throw that in there. A lot of people just didn't like Michigan, what they were doing at the time. A lot of people, it's reverse racism. They look at him like, oh, it's white boy. I don't know if he's going to be that good. Like, I think it was a reverse racism in that sense. Kind of like the white running back. And when you get a white running back, it's like, oh, he's pretty good for a white boy.
Or white corner.
White cornerback.
Or black quarterback.
Cooper DeZine. They used to be the king. Now it's 16 of 16. They're split in half.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of it. It's the Big Ten. Nobody respected what the competition level was. Outside of Penn State and Ohio State, you get no respect in the Big Ten. And to be honest, as a Big Ten guy, I agree.
For
the Big Ten is so you mix all these things in with, and he only did it 1 year at Michigan. And you mix all these things in, he's at home, and he's nice. Like, Aiden doesn't do anything. He's just superly nice. Sometimes people don't like the nice guy. Like, sometimes people don't like the nice guy that's talking about God and Christian and family, and people don't like that. Sometimes they want the edgy guy. Sometimes they want something else. You mix all those things in, and somewhere in that is why people hated on Aiden Hutchinson.
For me, it was, I thought Ajabo had a lot to do with his 1 year success at Michigan. And the biggest thing for me was the Georgia game. The Georgia game really scared me. He looked small. He looked non-existent in that game, and I'm like, man, this Georgia team's phenomenal.
Because
look at their offensive line, and just for me, those were the two reasons. And I'm glad that I'm wrong. I will fully admit that I was wrong. Yeah. But I'm glad Hutchinson's our defensive end, and he's killing it.
But what you said, it definitely goes exactly with what I said. People did not like the level of competition in the Big Ten for him. So now when you get the guy who, 2 is going to be an important number for Aiden Hutchinson. I'll bring that up again. 2, now you get the guy that finished second in the Heisman playing against Georgia in this offensive line. Now what's the conversation? Now we get to see if he's like that. Now we get to see, and when it didn't show up on film, that was, I guess, another little check mark that people said.
Javier Baez just came through for the Tigers. That's interesting. Because it's interesting that because when people bring up the Georgia game, which I'm not saying isn't fair, you've got a better understanding of it than I do. I can't quite recall it. He did have a tackle for loss in that game, but it's convenient that you go right to Georgia, but you forget about Ohio State.
Oh yeah, he had 3 sacks that game.
And I thought that was, I think it's selective anger. Like to say that he looks small. The dude's 6'7", 250 pounds, or he's 260 now. I
never say he looks small.
No, I'm not saying you. Ryan did.
That's nuts.
Looks small. I don't know
in the game.
But there were some things too, though. One of the things about Hutch is he was I don't like that term, so I won't say that. Hutch had one move he was really, really good at. And he had a couple moves that didn't necessarily work all the time, and they weren't necessarily special. So when people say the one phrase, and you know what that phrase is, I don't like a one-trick pony.
Yes.
When people say that also kind of muddied the waters, if you will. Oh, well, he's a one-trick pony. And you know, people that don't do homework, they're instantly going to go to that. Well, he's a one-trick pony. Well, what does that even mean? Like, what are his tricks? Explain them to me. So I think that muddied the waters as well as, all he can do is fast rush and up and under.
Mm-hmm.
We'll break it down. there's a lot more in that bag than you thought.
Yeah, and we are going to break it down. That's Braylon's Breakdown at 3 o'clock right here on the Braylon Edwards Show, so stick around when we come back. Dan Campbell is so much more than what he's portrayed.
Yeah, he is.
We'll get to that after this from Ven Johnson, who's portrayed as a fighter, and rightfully so.
Yeah, he will fight for you. And the cool thing about it is, man, he won't fight just to get you the settlement you want so that he can protect you. He's going to fight to put the money back into your pocket. Also, the money that is yours. Corporations, the government, even your insurance company will do whatever it takes to minimize their liability and withhold your compensation. Now, you got to do one thing and one thing only. You got to call Ben Johnson anytime you have a situation like this. They're right. He is your attorney. He is the fighter. You got to let him fight for you. Ben Johnson Law. I'm telling you, man, he will get the job done. He's only around the corner. VenFights.com. Reach out. They will get you together, and Ven will work for you.
You know, the Lions got the Bengals coming up. You know it's obviously October 5th.
The Bungles.
Do you also know that at Art and Jake's in Northville, where you love to watch games because they had 80 television sets and 22 draft beers on tap for you, did you know that the heavyweights are going to do a Lions game day show? Yes, they are. So we want you to be part of it. It's a 4:25 kickoff. Remember that. So be there if you want the Lions to win, and if you want to watch the heavyweights talk Lions football, then watch the game with them, Anson and Stick, and Anson and Stick will follow with the post-game show right here on Woodward Sports. A reminder, it is October 5th at Art and Jake's in Northville. Be there.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help. Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Ball looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness
That's a
is
good point,
essential. 100%. Look, and I'm allergic. The bottom says work, but I'm lying because I'm at Planet Fitness every day, getting it in with over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is the gym for you. But let me start with something that you guys like, which is the Detroit Lions, which we'll be talking about all day today. Lions win. That means you get a chance to get a membership at Planet Fitness. Ooh, you like that?
I like that a lot.
You get an opportunity to get a free membership at Planet Fitness if the Lions win, but you got to go to a Planet Fitness because you got to enter your name into the hat. Squeaky clean gyms, trainers with every membership, and then there's no judgment at Planet Fitness. We want you to come, work out, start your journey, and work out at a clip of your own. Planet Fitness, remember, your fitness is essential.
When's the last day you missed a workout? You got to look a long time for you, right? I mean, you're constantly getting it done.
I missed 1 to 2 golf outing, maybe like June.
June.
Yeah.
How about that? Incredible. Simply
Still
incredible.
pissed about it too.
Well, you wouldn't know. Here's a beauty, though. We all like to enjoy ourselves, I hope, okay? Some people do it differently. Well, Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea understands there are people like Braylon who work out every single day. They don't want to get bloated down. They want to still feel good about themselves, and they do, because it's Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. It's only 100 calories, and it's still 4.5% alcohol. And it's great for tailgates. It's great for hanging out with buddies watching the Tigers and Guardians that are tied at 1 right now in the bottom of the 4th. That's what it's all about. It's good times cruising with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea and, of course, Woodward Sports, but please drink responsibly.
And we back.
We were just having a conversation about the NFL draft.
Yeah.
I really respect and appreciate Ryan's willingness to say, look, I was wrong about I didn't want Aiden Hutchinson. I didn't want Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't want Jamison Williams. I didn't want Jack Campbell. I try to
He
tell
don't want anybody.
It doesn't sound like he likes any Lion. But
Fair.
Are you even a fan? No.
why do you hate the Lions, Ryan?
I don't know. I
He's
hate
Chip.
it.
That's what it is, man. I feel like Centrals are secret haters, man. That's what it is.
No, I've learned to every single draft pick now that Brad Holmes has. I just go, cool.
Okay.
I don't even have an opinion anymore.
But here, and we're not picking on Ryan here. This is I've had this mindset. A lot of people.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
This is a safe space.
When people say things like, I don't believe in drafting running backs that high, or I don't believe in drafting a certain position that high, my question is always why? So you don't believe that a guy like Barry Sanders, for example, who was drafted high, would make a lot of sense to draft. Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell, guys like that should never have been drafted because of their position. I think that mindset is dangerous for fans. You take the best player on your board, whether it's a running back, a guard, a tackle. You got to trust yourself, and that's what you do. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever to say, I don't believe. So, in other words, how many positions do you believe should be taken in the first round? And at what position? You know what I mean? I always struggle with that.
I understand that, but I don't think that was a conversation in the 80s when they were drafting running backs like that, because running back was the offense. Like, there was a bunch of running backs that got drafted in the top 5, top 10 because the league went through the running back. I think that conversation is more in the last 4 to 5 years. I think then we got to the point where not taking running backs. Like, outside of Bijan Robinson, they'll name a couple of the running backs that have been drafted in the top 5, top 6, top 7, and actually lasted past 5 years with that team. Because that was
that team you're saying, one specific team.
That became the issue at hand. If I'm going to draft a guy top 3, top 4, that guy is going to be a staple player for years to come. That guy is going to I'm drafting him to be in the Ring of Honor. Like, that's essentially the conversation. If I'm drafting a guy top 3, in my mind, he's a Ring of Honor candidate. And with running backs and where we were trending, they were trying to pick running backs up in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 2nd, because they're
being successful with it.
Because they're going to use you for 4 years. They're going to get rid of you in that 5th year when the window comes up, and you'll be on to the next team. So why am I going to invest a 3rd overall pick in a guy that I don't foresee being here?
Excellent.
That's where the league was trending, and I think because of Bijan, I think because of guys like Kyron Williams, because of Jahmyr Gibbs, you're starting to see guys like, wait.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, my apologies, how could I forget? If there is a player there that we feel can meet that criteria, Ashton Genty, not meeting it yet, but you saw the last game.
Sure.
If there's a player there that meets the criteria, then the hell with the running backs. Outside of that, it's still, I'm not going to take a running back.
I love that explanation. I think it's excellent. I would just say
to each his own.
Yes, to each his own. But the tweak from the names I gave you of the past in the chat, old guy, to the new names, the difference, sure, they used to be a featured. Now, because they are able to run the ball through the air, and I know that sounds weird,
No,
but it's
you're
an
right.
extension of your running game. Those guys didn't catch the ball out of the backfield the way the guys do today. Bijan Robinson is an unbelievable player along with Jahmyr Gibbs, not just because they're good runners, not because they're just good pass protectors, because they're smart and shifting, but also because they have an extension of the run game where quarterbacks can filter it to them and they can make something happen.
To your point, it's simple as this. Not Bijan Robinson. Jahmyr Gibbs caught 10 passes against the Green Bay Packers for 30 yards. That is what we mean by the run game by pass. Because a lot of times you're passing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Until the last game, Aaron Rodgers, 75% of his passes were behind the line of scrimmage before this last win that they had. So you can essentially pass the ball, and it's like a run. I see what you mean.
Yeah. So it's an interesting way to look at things, and I worry about being in prisms, okay, with an M, prisms, where
Jared Goff talked about it.
I'm just caught where I can't take this guy this high because of the position he plays. If that's the case, you will be drafting strictly quarterbacks, and we know how long that can take to adjust, wide receivers, left tackles, and defensive ends.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, I mean, we heard it with, this is a terrible example, Jeff Okudah. Hell, we used to hear it back in the day with Terry Fair. I wouldn't take a cornerback that high, and he wasn't even that high. It was like 22, 23.
Yeah,
of course, they passed on Randy Moss, but
Thank you.
I
That's where
digress.
I was going.
Yeah.
That's where I was. As soon as I hear Terry Fair, unfortunately to Terry Fair, he is a name that happens, and everybody in that draft that got drafted 22 and back, when you hear that name, you're instantly going to think of one person.
Right.
Randy Moss.
Right.
Damn, we had a chance.
It's the same thing in the 1980 draft with Dan Marino.
Yeah, Marino.
How many teams passed on Dan Marino? How ridiculous was it that Todd Blackledge and Ken O'Brien and guys like that won?
None of them quarterbacks won a Super Bowl, huh?
Oh, yeah, John Elway did.
Well, he doesn't count. I mean, the one.
He doesn't count. Jim Kelly got to 4, obviously didn't win.
Yeah.
Right, Todd Blackledge did not. Tony Eason got to 1.
True.
Okay, how the hell he was drafted ahead of Dan Marino? There's somebody in a scout room had to lose their job after doing that. How you saw Tony Eason at Illinois and said he's better than Dan Marino at Pittsburgh is beyond me.
Like, John Elway had the coldest backup plan of all time. And I know there's been some other players that do it, but they didn't go 1 in each draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the backup plan to, if you don't make a trade, I'll just go play for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like, that's the coldest. That's the coldest flex of all time.
And then show up at spring training.
He did.
And
In New
throw
York.
back and forth to let everybody know I'm dead serious about this.
And that's when the Broncos traded the offensive lineman they drafted that year.
Chris Hinton.
Out of Northwestern, if I'm correct.
Chris Hinton, who was really good, by the way, but always got labeled as the guy traded for John Elway, went to the Colts, and of course those teams were terrible. And Elway, we all know what he did in Denver. Chris Hinton was a hell of a player, and his son played at Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah,
he was
absolutely
a
correct.
defensive lineman. Yeah. Speaking of football, Dan Campbell, you sent this to me. Did you send it to me in Kool-Aid this morning or last night? Either way.
This morning, I think.
because you send me so many texts, which I greatly appreciate. I get them sometimes confused. About
That's
Dan
just
Campbell.
like 18 different text threads open. To that point, you're right about that. It's like 9 threads open.
I know there are a lot. The thing about Dan Campbell, Braylon's text was, how come he doesn't get enough credit?
Yeah.
And I think you're dead on there, and I'm wondering why. And we've talked a little bit about it, but I'm wondering why that people just view him as a guy who grabs a pinch, puts it in his lower gum, does Applebee commercials and lawyer commercials, and lets everybody else do what they do, and it's almost really easy because he's got an all-star lineup. It's unfair to him.
Yeah, I think it's because they ignore all the things. You know, the things that everybody else has that they use, they don't give it to him because I think it's the meathead. Like, I promise you, I don't think he gets enough credit. It's because how they look at him. They look at him as a guy that's lucky to have a head coaching job. He's a meathead. They hired him for what the system is. Meanwhile, they hired great offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and they've been lucky to draft all pro players. Like, that's what this sentiment is. They don't realize how smart he is. They don't realize how dowdy he is. They don't realize who he set behind. They don't realize the cachet of Sean Payton and Bill Parcells. They don't realize that there was something there when he got the interim head coaching job with the Miami Dolphins. Like, they don't realize that it's more there when you lose Ben and all you guys talk about is Ben and Aaron Glenn and what they did and what they won't be. And here it is. They're sitting at 3-1 in the NFC North. They are legitimately the best team. Not the Eagles, who are undefeated, but I think right now they're better than the Eagles. Neither here nor there. At what point do you not pay attention to, well, Kyle Shanahan had a ton of great draft picks.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan had, Sean McVay had a bunch of great draft picks, and Aaron Donald and, Cooper Kupp, who went Triple Crown, and then you bring in Matt Stafford. Those guys had great players. Andy Reid has the best quarterback in the league and maybe one of the best quarterbacks of all time when it's said and done. He is now, but maybe closer. When it's all said and done, this is Andy Reid. They don't give him the credit because they look at him. He doesn't have glasses. He doesn't come to the podium and have some great conversation about what the offense was.
Doesn't wear capris like Mike McDaniel.
He's not this wizard that you look at, oh, yeah, he's a genius because he looks like a genius. He's a genius.
That's right.
He's a genius because he's the head coach and he's only 36. Yeah. He's only 34. He doesn't have any of those things that we assimilate.
He does down-ups with the team.
He's a meathead.
Okay.
He's all these things. Like, when's the last time you've seen a guy that was 6'5", jack, former player, still talks like a former player, still looks like he'll whoop your
Packs a big old fatty.
When's the last time you seen a guy like that be successful as a head coach? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Right. Doesn't need glasses to read his scripted plays, and not that we're to blame, but I'm saying the media in general just run with that narrative.
They don't want him to be. They don't want him to win.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far.
No, they may want the Lions to win, but they don't want Dan Campbell to win.
Why? Why would they feel
for
that?
Everything that I just said? I don't know. That's something that they can't get past. They can't get past what he represents or what they perceive he represents.
I'm surprised that people actually, you use the phrase meathead, and a lot of people have. I'm surprised they think that. When you hear him talk, it's passionate. What they're forgetting is the relationship that he has with his players. The ability to reach players like you sometimes can be just as important as the X's and O's part of it. Coaching is more than just on Sunday. And I learned that, especially, it was highlighted by Jim Caldwell, who I loved while he was here. The players would run through the proverbial brick wall for that man. That didn't always show up on Sundays where they would lose. Yeah. But they believed in him. They trusted him. They wanted to play for him. I truly believe not only is this guy a really good coach, but he's an unbelievable communicator, and he's one of them.
Yeah, 100%. It goes back to the conversation when you look at a McVay or a Kevin O'Connell or a Kyle Shanahan or Stefanski. All these guys, temperamental, they're offensive guys, smooth. They perceive them to be this. They're clean cut. Their conversation is, well, we start off in the first half, blah, blah, blah. That's not Dan Campbell. Yeah. And when they hear things like, we'll just take them out to the deep end and we'll wait and drown them, well, if it's not successful, we'll bite the kneecaps off. These are comments that he said.
Yeah, I know.
And this is a different era. This isn't the era back 15, 10, 20 years ago where they understood that that's passion. And once you show me that you can win, now I have to take that as, this is how he wins. He's a winner. I'm still looking at those comments. Oh, man, he's going to take somebody out to the deep end and drown them. A lot of journalism, a lot of people that's just new, and you know exactly where I'm going with that. They don't know how to tap into that. Don't pay attention to what Dan Campbell says. Pay attention to the record. Anybody check what his record is on Monday Night Football? Anybody check what his record is in primetime football? I'm just asking. These are facts. Has anybody checked his record since the halfway point of the 2022 season?
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Did anybody check his record last year when every defensive player we had got hurt? Did anybody check his record then?
When the last time they lost
These are just real
back-to-back
conversations. At what point? Okay, well, Ben Johnson's gone and Aaron Glenn's gone and it's over and they lose. They get beat up against Green Bay and sky is falling and they're done. Dan Campbell, we showed you couldn't do it. Where those people at? Where are you at?
Just because he uses the word man a lot doesn't mean that he's unintelligent. Doesn't mean that he can't relate to players.
When you talk about the Detroit Lions, start putting some damn respect on Dan Campbell's name. Talk about him first.
Yeah.
When you talk about the Lions, it's, Jared Goff is he's the coldest quarterback in the pocket with protection since Tom Brady. Jahmyr Gibbs is the fastest running back in the league. Oh, my God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. look at the things that he's able to do. He's put himself in a situation. He might be the best wide receiver, at least this particular year. They talk about all the players, and now they talk about Kelvin Shepard. You know, there's a reason why Aaron Glenn okayed him. Oh, Johnny Moe. There's a reason why 2022 he was here. It was real. He did have a connection. They brought him back. Well, yeah, this is why it's working. It's working because of Dan Campbell, who was hired first.
To your
You know what we noticed too? Like somebody in the chat said, hire the right people and then just let him go. That's not what it's about. He doesn't just hire the right people and let him go. You don't think he's involved in everyday play calling and things of that nature? He absolutely is. But what does he do better than anybody else?
Allows people to do their thing.
And he gives them the credit. Okay? He's not out there saying, look at me. Okay? Just because he does commercials doesn't mean it's a look at me situation. He lets those people do it. He lets those people take the credit. Jared Goff has now played as many games as a Lion as he played as a Ram. Jared Goff has as many wins as a Lion as he had as a Ram. And Dan Campbell is a primary reason for that because when he came to Detroit,
he had a bodyguard. He was right here in Birmingham Roast with a bodyguard, Shep. He had a bodyguard.
Jared Goff?
Jared Goff had a bodyguard.
Dan Campbell has basically told him, was it you? Were you the bodyguard?
No, I was not the bodyguard.
It wouldn't have surprised me. Dan Campbell saying in so many, you're my guy.
Yeah.
To reinstate the confidence, to reinstall the confidence, for him to reiterate how much he means to him.
Yeah.
That may seem like a small thing,
No.
but when we talk about him being one of the best quarterbacks in the pocket in the National Football League, a lot of that comes from between the ears. He's a really smart guy. He's really accurate. Maybe none of it happens if Dan Campbell doesn't pull him into his office one day and say, I just want you to know one thing here. I love you. You're my guy. You're the quarterback of this team. Don't worry about it. It's a little thing, but I think it goes a long way.
2009, I started that season with the Cleveland Browns. Started the season with the Cleveland Browns. I was on a 7-year deal, option after 6. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. That's how it used to be in 05. So I'm on a 7-year deal, option after 6. This is year 5. Get traded, go to the Jets. Rex Ryan's the head coach. Love Rex, but this is before the love. I'm legitimately on a 1-year kind of prove-it deal because my option's up the next year. If I don't play well, they're not going to bring me back. This is the first time that I've gotten traded, so now there's some nervousness. There's some worry. I've been traded. I'm no longer with the team that drafted me 3rd overall. They saw fit to see me on my way. I don't know what this is going to look like. Play the season out, go to the AFC Championship, lose that game. I'm sweating the offseason because I'm like, they're probably not going to bring me back. They're not going to pay my option, which was 5.4 that particular year. They're not going to bring me back. Damn, now I got to find another team. I got to find another home. Rex not only brought me into the office when I came back in March. Once they sent me the contract, he told me I would be his guy the whole 09 season. I thought it was coach speak. And then he sent me the contract in March of 2010. He said, I told you you're my guy. When I came back to the facility in late March, when I got there, called me into his office right away. Like he said, hey, I heard Braylon's here. Have him come to the office. I came upstairs and talked to him, sat down. We had a great conversation. But he told me, he validated and he supported that I was a player. He said, I told you I wanted you here. I like what you do. Basically, he put his arm around me and said, let's go do this thing. That meant a lot to me. Like, that meant a ton to me.
You weren't just a player, though. You were his kind of player.
Which made me like, it's family.
Yeah.
And then I look at it, too. Like, my dad played, my buddy Ryan was with the Oilers when my dad was there. And then I was with Rex Ryan.
Was that the Kevin Gilbride? Was Kevin Gilbride at the same time when Buddy Ryan and he got in a fight?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
100%. Long story short, yes, like when coaches do that, you become more than just a player, and then now you're playing for more. Now you're operating more. Now you're doing more. So, yeah, respect.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an undervalued thing because we don't see it.
Yeah.
We don't see it all the time. And I think Dan Campbell is like that. I think it's really important. All the best coaches and managers I've ever been around are the best communicators. Yeah. It doesn't mean they always have to let you in and invite you over for Christmas dinner.
This is true.
But what it does mean, I believe, is players want honesty because they see enough fake stuff. Everybody wants to be Braylon's friend. Why? He's Braylon Edwards, okay? It takes a lot for you to penetrate the bubble, all right? Coaches, all players want from coaches, be honest with me, shoot me straight, and we can move on from there.
And part of that honesty, you highlighted the fact, with Ryan and others As he said, you know what? I'm not afraid to say that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell has not been afraid to step up and say to his team or say to the media where he's been wrong.
Yeah.
And I do believe that accountability, it breeds a certain type of respect. Now, when you look at Dan Campbell's background, you know not only was he a good player, not only was he one of those guys that left out there on the field, not only was he one of those guys that all his coaches like, but when he stepped into the ranks of, the assistant coaching and climbing his ranks to being a coach, he didn't skip any steps. And like for me, when you actually go and you do the work, I hate when people try to take that from you. I don't care if he talks.
What do you mean by skipping steps?
Oh, the coaching trees that he came up underneath as it relates to Sean
So you think you got to pay your
Bill
dues?
Parcells.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
Whether you pay your dues or not, don't take it from somebody who has. Like, however you get there, you get there. And I'm not going to take that from anyone, but Dan Campbell actually paid his dues. And so for people today to try and take that from him and act like he didn't, like he just stumbled up on a job and Detroit just grabbed somebody who they can put on a puppet string because they'll just dance to anybody, that to me is disrespectful.
I get it. Yeah.
I
get it. The reason I asked that is because Stephen Vogt was manager of the year last year, just won his second straight championship. He didn't pay his dues. He did as a player, but he went right to the dugout. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah.
And one more thing with Dan, I like his ability to identify players that he knows will be liked and accepted by the fan base here too. It's an interesting thing here. Because
you think that's important? You think that's important?
To a degree, because you need people comfortable. You see Jared Goff, to juxtapose Braylon's point, when he first got here with the bodyguards, well, once they clinched that division, do you remember the scene of him and his father in the city, surrounded by people chanting his name?
Was
that
Justin?
to me, I think that
was Justin there?
I think.
That's
I like that.
You're hilarious.
That's an inside joke. I'm sorry. All right, when it's great stuff. I don't know if it's important for general managers or coaches to find players that the city's going to like. I think if they find winners, I think just about every city will like them. Now, somebody in the chat said, I can't stand A.J. Hinch. He's got to bring me a ring to believe in him, which is a little surprising to me. But maybe it's because of what happened in Houston. I'm not sure. But if you win, more oftentimes than not, fan base is going to embrace you.
Yeah.
So that's the belief.
I disagree with A.J. Hinch thing. I find if you want to hold the asterisk World Series against him, that's cool. What he did with the team, and it's just me, I know we're different on this. I didn't think very much of what that Tigers team was last year. To do what he did, get that team back, and then double back, get this team back this year in the midst of all that. He's done enough for the Detroit Tigers for me to believe in him as our skipper. Now, obviously, you want to see more. You want there to be an ALCS, and you want there to be a World Series. But for what I've seen out of him right now, thank you for bringing my damn baseball team back from the depths of darkness.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. The 15.5 game lead is frustrating for a lot of fans, so I understand that. I would always ask people this: if you don't like him, who do you want? Who do you want instead?
Yeah.
Because 3 skippers have been let go or chosen not to come back, depending on how you want to phrase it. Bruce Bochy, doubt he's going to manage again. Bob Melvin would like to manage again, and Ron Washington, who may not have an opportunity to manage again. Those are 3 big names, 3 accomplished names for sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't want A.J. Hinch, do you want the next latest and greatest, similar to what you had in Brad Ausmus, who, by the way, is now on the Yankees bench? So I think sometimes when people look at it that way, you got to be careful on what you're asking and what you're wishing for. He's a pretty damn good manager, and I would argue one of the best in all of baseball. All right, when we come back, good conversation, really good stuff regarding Dan Campbell. 3 o'clock. Braylon's breakdown.
I'm getting close to being ready, realistically. Like, if we don't want to waste any more time, we can get this thing cracking when we come back from vacation. We don't need to wait till 3 o'clock unless you want to.
Listen, it's your show. I'll do whatever you want. As far as I'm concerned, it could go from 2:47 all the way to 4 o'clock. You know how much I like the segment. I mean, I
roll the damn tape. When we come back from break, then that's what we
Here's what I want. I need a fireplace. I need a Buddy's Pizza. Ooh. I need a Smoothie King to drink. Ooh. I need a blanket. I'll sit in the chair and watch you go for an hour and 10 minutes on Braylon's Breakdown. We're going to watch film. We're watching football film when we come back on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports.
First, we got to get in a message from
Smoothie King.
Smoothie King. Hey!
Followed by
finally
Buddy.
Hey,
excited.
didn't I just mention that?
You did.
Yeah,
I
Smoothie
did.
King and
You
Buddy.
did, you did. We're going to get Smoothie King the first read for Smoothie King, and it's going to be a good one. Recovery is where winners are made. That's why we partner with Smoothie King to teach you how to recover. Has the clean ingredients. That's what Smoothie King has. They've done a great job with revamping their menu, and now they got those things that you would be proud to put in your system, make you the better player, better athlete, just a better person. Real fruit protein to help me refuel and come back stronger. Join me, download the Healthy Rewards app, and build your perfect post-workout routine. That's what Smoothie King wants you to do, become a better version of yourself. And also, I told you about it yesterday,
Man,
we will
good.
start this Friday. We already got the guy. You guys are going to be very excited. He had a really good week last week. Excited to talk about him. He will be the Smoothie King High School Athlete of the Week. Now, what you can do, if you have any recommendations, if you got any people you want to throw into the hat for next week or the following week or the following week, then you scan this QR code above my head and you submit your entry, and we'll try to get your friend, your son, your nephew, or your daughter, or your niece. We'll try to get them as the high school athlete of the week. They got to qualify though. Smoothie King, they just do it the right way.
Hey, bro, you
Can I add one more thing?
Please.
If we add a little video, if you could send us some video, maybe Braylon breaks down the video once in a while. That's not a bad idea. Smoothie King wouldn't mind that either, if I don't mind speaking, for one of those delicious Smoothie King smoothies, especially
100%.
that strawberry banana one right there in front. You know what else is delicious? Good deals on cars. Good people who help you get into those vehicles. And that's Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. These are the specials they've got going on right now. Forget the QR code. Just go to their website, lesstanford.com. The Equinox, $229 a month. The Lyric, $489 a month. The Hummer, $599 a month. All of them, there's Braylon's head, all of them with taxes extra. But it's still a hell of a deal. Check it out today. Go to lesstanford.com.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Let me tell you about Jack's Car Wash, which is where I get my car wash, and that's why it always looks spick and span, man. They put the shine on it. They do it right. They got the free vacuum, so the inside of your car, it's done the right way, man. The compressed air pushes everything out, and then they got 8 interior cleaning locations. So that means they do it all. But they have 40 around the state, so you can pull up to one. And while you're there, how about we do this? How about you text WSN to 888-522-1729. Now, that'll get you a free car wash. And once you get that free car wash, don't let it be your last. Why don't you sign up for that unlimited plan? $29.99 will get you in the game. You see this long summer we're having? You want your car to look right. And I don't care what type of car you have or how old it is or what it is. When you put one of those Jack's Car Wash shines on it, it looks that much better.
Did
Jack's
you say 40 locations around the state?
Excuse me, over 40.
Oh, my God.
They're over 40.
I'm not sure people realize that.
Out there. They're over 40, which is a lot, man.
That's impressive. What else we got, Kool-Aid?
Pizza. Oh. Za.
You know what? I mean, you're such a nice guy. You got a beautiful smile, but you always, you really do, you're mean to me sometimes. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, Shep, I need you to read the Buddy's Pizza. But you know I want a Buddy's Pizza.
We're going to need some more on the show soon, I think.
Yeah, can we bring it in around 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock? Because at 12 o'clock, everybody like the heavyweights and Anson eat it. And if I didn't have Ryan texting me, then it would be a big problem. But luckily, I have friends who do text me, and luckily you've got Buddy's Pizza who's been doing this at the highest level, giving you Detroit-style pizza for 79 years. It's also they're also a dedicated community partner, I might add. When you've got 22 locations throughout the state, and you make the pizza that they do and then give you the deals on top of that, that tells you all you need to know about what a great franchise and a great Buddy's name it really is. Right now, save 10% on your entire order. All you have to do is type in the promo code 10MEAL. That's 10 MEAL, and you are in business. Go to buddyspizza.com.
Hey, we back. And you know what? Duncan Stewart said technically they owe you a pizza, Shep.
Technically, I'm going to hold them to that. This is the best television. Do you want to call it television streaming? I don't care. That this network or any network does. We're about to see that. That's a lot of pressure on him, but he doesn't give a crap. He's played in front of 100,000 people and made spectacular catches. Before we get into Braylon's breakdown, let me just remind the folks in the chat who have agreed with some who say A.J. Hinch isn't a very good manager. Let me give you a quick example, okay? Up to bat was A.J. Kiefer. He's a left-handed stick, and he gets a bouncer inside the third base bag into left field. Riley Green is there to hold him to a single. That is called positioning. A.J. Hinch and George Lombard helping him be there. Soft tosser in Holton, soft hitter in Kiefer means you play toward the line and you play in, and then they get the force out to end the inning. It was a hell of a job. That's good managing, and that I hope people are taking to recognize on baseball games when you're watching them. The other thing you can recognize is just what it takes to be a really good football player. And for Braylon Edwards, in Braylon's breakdown, we oftentimes we spread it around. It's not always wide receivers. Sure, a wide receiver is the very first one back in training camp, but ever since then, he's only done one wide receiver. Okay? One. Today, who are you focusing on and why?
Time to get up. So excited about this one. We are going to focus in on Aiden Hutchinson. A lot being made about Aiden Hutchinson last season. He got off to that tremendous start. 7.5 sacks, which still led in it led all the way to week 11, week 12 before it finally got overtaken. But last year you saw what he could be, and obviously he gets the horrible injury. A lot of concern, a lot of nervousness. Is he going to be able to get back to that shape, that form, and where he was at? Let's start here with the timeline, Ryan. Now, shout out to Kool-Aid Ryan as well as Easy in the back for getting these graphics ready for you. Appreciate you guys tremendously. Let's get it going. This is Aiden Hutchinson. This is the comeback. Trek last year, you remember the game last year against the Bucks. You remember the 3.5 sacks, still lost that game, which is crazy. But you remember where he was at 7.5 sacks. He had taken that next step as the guy. You believed him to be the defensive player of the year. You believed that he was the pick in 2022. You were no longer thinking about anybody else. It was that guy. And then 10-13, the infamous nasty injury that we saw. He broke his leg. We wished him the best. He made it back. We get all the way back to the game against the Packers. This pretty much is the offseason. Let's start here. Start with last year, the Bucks game. I want to show you how he looked, how explosive he looked, and how that's come back as of 4 games this season. Put the first game up there, please. Here we go. Big guy on the outside. Now, the guy he's going against right here, he's one of the best linemen in the game, ladies and gentlemen. He is Tristan Wirfs. If he was playing right now, I guarantee you, Bucks might still be undefeated. That's a lot to say about a guard, but you know what? I mean, that's a lot to say about a lineman, but you know what? Linemen deserve that sometimes. Aiden's over here. He right now is in prime form at this time. Hit play. Watch the explosion. Like, once he starts, watch how fast he gets to the 5-yard mark on Tristan Wirfs. This is last year once again. You can see me. Watch how fast he gets to the 5-yard mark. Boom, boom, boom. And watch how rewind it a little bit. Watch when he puts his hand low, he gets low, and he punches into Wirfs. Watch the punch into Wirfs. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Punch, punch. Oh, here we go. He legitimately is about to push this right tackle all the way back into Baker Mayfield. You see the rest of the play.
That's a big man.
This is a big man, but this is a bigger man. This is a bigger man in terms of how fast he is and what the strength is right now. Look at the rest of this play. Let it play out, Ryan. Appreciate you. Boom. Gets him out of the way. Got him to the point where he had one hand on him. Rewind it a little bit, Ryan. He had one hand, just his right hand, as he was trying to figure out, what am I going to do after that sack, get the celebration. This was last year. This is a game he had 3.5 sacks, and he was on the trajectory. Everything that we said about 22, 23, he took the jump in 24. He's beating double teams. He's beating triple teams. He is a force to be reckoned with. Fast forward, he has the injury against the Dallas Cowboys, has to sit out the whole season. And then it becomes questions to Doc, who we'll have on tomorrow. To us, what's it going to look like? What's that timeline? Is he going to be the player that he once was? Doc told you he'd be back game 4. I said game 4 is a good benchmark to where that mental meets that physical. Now, fast forward, he does everything that he's supposed to do. He gets back. He gets back for the start of the season. He was way before the season started. Was he ready to play? Go to the first game of the season, the Green Bay Packers. Go back to, all right, pause. Now, in this game, what's the conversation, Shep? Conversation is about Shep. First game back, Aiden Hutchinson. What's the thought process?
How's he going to be recovering from the leg injury? Will he have the same burst? And let's watch him versus Micah Parsons.
All right, here we go. Aiden Hutchinson, right here on the right side. Now, this is something that I will come back to when we get to the game after Cleveland. He's on the right side. All right, hit play. He got Tucker Kraft over him. He jumps to the left tackle, left tight end. Look how high he is. Rewind it back. Watch his body level. Watch the body level. Look at him. He's high. Remember how fast he got down? And remember he low. I mean, it's a off release, but he's still the trajectory was low. Still the angle was low. Watch how high he is on this play. Hit play. Look at the body. Look at it. Now he's up
he almost
here.
stands up.
He's standing up.
Yeah.
He's doing this. He's not a tight end. You're not a tight end. You're not George Kittle. This is a little bit of trying to figure it out. When you're trying to figure it out, that's in your mental. You're healthy. Mm-hmm. Aiden's healthy right here, but it's that mental trying to figure out, can I still do it? And now you'll see the guard come off and chip Aiden. Watch Aiden on this. All right, doesn't. It's a two-way. It's a double team. So I'm not knocking the double team, but just look at the energy. Look at the effort and look at the confidence level and what Aiden is on this play. Finish it out. Just kind of goes through. Now he's like, okay, I'm beat. What's going on? Let me figure it out. Maybe get my hand up. Maybe do something. Running back one last time, and you don't have to pause it this time. Just watch the whole play and think everything that you thought going into the season. Will he look like he did against Tampa? Hit play. If I put this on film and told you that this would be the defensive player of the year, what would you tell me?
No way.
Only one play. Only one play. No disrespect. Only one play. But that play just didn't look like the same guy from that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game.
It didn't.
It did not look like the same guy. Okay? So now you're like,
because you always talk about leverage with defensive players,
especially for somebody like Aiden, who's so good, so good at getting low, getting the bend. He can do it in multiple ways. This is what you did not want to see. This is what makes you. But then remember what Doc told you. This is why we have the injury insider. This is why we have Dr. Jeff Pierce. This is why we have former guys that played in the NFL that have had major surgeries. 4 games. That's typically the mental. All right, cool. Here we go. Game 4. The Cleveland Browns. Now, what happened before this game, but we'll just stay on the 4-game trajectory. Aiden Hutchinson on the left side for him, right side of the quarterback. Here's the big fella up top.
And they move him, right, Braylon? He actually can decide which side he wants to play on.
I'm glad you brought it up. We'll get that going right now. The reason why I said that on the last slide, pay attention to him on the right side. Aiden usually lines up on the left side, where he's lined up now. This is what he did in 22. This is what he did in 23. But in 24, at the start of the season, he started moving around. Aaron Glenn felt confident enough. Yo, Aiden can go where he wants to. They didn't just tell us that last year. That was the only thing. We didn't get to the part where Aaron Glenn says, hey, Aiden can do what he wants, because guess what happened? Aiden got hurt.
Right.
So the conversation never came back.
Good.
Will we get to the point where Aiden can go where he wants? Ladies and gentlemen, we got that question answered this season. Here you go. Run the play. This is a beauty to watch. It's just a beauty to watch. Just a beauty to watch in the sense of this is game 4, and you can see the difference in game 1 and game 4.
I have a question in the back of the room.
Play.
Why would Joe Flacco motion his tight end away from Aiden Hutchinson to the left side? To me, that makes no sense.
Because he's looking for a favorable matchup, and he knows he got a quick window. So he's literally looking for his tight end to come quick. He's got a quick window. He knows that Aiden's 5 yards outside the line of scrimmage, which means he's about 8 to 10. He's got a quick second to throw this ball, and that's what he's attempting to do.
Gotcha.
But Joe's a big quarterback that doesn't necessarily care about taking sacks, like we'll see on this play. Hit play. Oh, see, look, just run it back. Just look at Aiden getting ready. Just look at him chopping at the bit. Just look at where he's at. Look at the field. Like, this is the Aiden we want to see. This is him being back. This is it right here. All fours getting ready. He's chomping at the bit. Can't get that foot in there. Where's that leverage? Where's that foot? 71, you don't stand a chance. 71 knows it, too, because 71's too high. 71's too high.
You cooked.
What? He's like, oh, shoot. Here's that guy. Mama, there goes that man, they said. Mama, there goes. Look how high he is. And he's looking. This right eye is looking like D-A-M-N. Hit play. Excuse me. Let me get up around you. Hey, Joe thought that he would get a good enough chip to where he would have just enough time to find Julia, one of these guys. Joe, I'm so sorry to tell you. Hit play. You ain't going to have that time to time. Now Joe knows it is what it is. Now you just take the sack as a 27-year vet that I think he is. Slams him down. Rewind it all the way back. Now, there's a lot of plays to choose from in terms of what he's done over the last 3 games. 4 sacks in the last 3 games for the big fella, by the way. But I chose this one because I like the bend. I like the aggression. I like how fast he got the arms off of 71. He didn't go up and under. He went over. He went over, which is one of those bag moves I talked about. He doesn't just have to dip and rip. Hit play. Knocks the hand down double time, I do believe. Oh, he did the fake. Faked him with the right arm and then used the left arm to knock it down.
And then he just ripped through.
100%. And he knocked it down kind of with the left arm. Hit play. Aiden's back, man. Aiden's on trajectory. And all you're going to say this is a bad offensive line. Who cares? He did it to the Baltimore Ravens. He did it to this team. He did it to the Chicago Bears. And they're figuring out 4 sacks in 3 games. Not only is Aiden Hutchinson going to be comeback player of the year, because he got 4 sacks already. That's a 17-sack trajectory. 4 sacks in 4 games. He's on track to be comeback player of the year. He's also going to be defensive player of the year. It doesn't just stem from him getting back to the thing that was in his bag, him up and under, the leverage, getting low, feeling strong, feeling confident. It's because these big guys up front. It's because of how well the big guys up front.
How much does that help him, do you think?
Tremendously, because now you can't do double teams. Now guys can't take their time and double team out because they got the big fella, DJ Reader, in the middle. You got the big fella, Talik Williams, who has 2 knockdowns, is playing well for them right now. And oh, by the way, another reason why he's going to be comeback player, defensive player of the year. Kool-Aid, we just got a ticker about a particular player who might have been the Lions' best defensive player last season after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, who is going to start practicing this week.
Hey.
Who's going to start practicing this week? Put the graphic up there. Who's practicing this week? Ladies and gentlemen,
get that up.
Aleem McDill, the practice window has started. You get Big Aleem McNeil out there mixed in with Talib Williams, mixed in with DJ Reed, and now you got guys having a consistent energy, a consistent motive, being spelled for Big Aiden, man. And not to mention, it seems as though they're finding a little something on that other side. Now, I don't know if I'm saying I agree with what they did this offseason, but I'm saying it's working thus far for the big fella who Ryan said they're the best sack tandem in the league, El-Quadin Muhammad and Aiden Hudson. But this is great news for the Detroit Lions. Now, this doesn't mean he's going to play this week.
No.
This doesn't mean he's dressing next week. This just means he can practice. He's going to start the process of getting in shape, getting in condition, and seeing what he can do and how fast he can go.
Yeah, what do you
news.
read into that? Knowing they had just so people are aware, they had a 21-day window.
Yeah.
To start that practice clock, if you will, open the practice window, and they did it within 48 hours. What does that tell you?
They know he's ready. They know he's back. They know that he's in a space to where they have a plan. It just means they have a plan. It means that they didn't come up with a plan once they got the info and figured out they had a plan in place for a very long time. And now that the window is here, they already announced it. They're ready to rock and roll.
They could be at full strength by
Yeah.
week 9 against Minnesota.
Yeah.
They could have a guy like DJ Reed, and I know I'm looking at the glass half full, 4 to 5 weeks instead of the rest of the season. Terry Arnold most likely out this week as well. Aleem McNeil back, and Marcus I know people are going to shake their head vehemently. Marcus Davenport back. That's a pretty encouraging sign, if you ask me.
No, it definitely is an encouraging sign that you get guys back, and that's what the season was going to be about. It was going to be about getting guys back. When you have guys get injured, how long does it take for them to get back? Them getting the big fella back, I mean, if we remember what clip he was playing at, like I always go back to this one particular game. Quentin Nelson has been one of the best. He has been one of the best in the last 20 years. He got dominated by Aleem McNeil. It wasn't even funny. When I take instances like that, when I'm watching examples like that, you don't take that lightly. Like, that's not something where, oh, it was just that game, or he's having a bad game, he's having a bad moment. He got dump truck. So to get Aleem McNeil back with that type of energy, it's going to be good. You got to give Aiden a lot of credit. Being there, having gone through a major injury. This is the second time for Aiden. In his sophomore year at Michigan, now he's coming back. This year, everybody talking about
that weighs on you, doesn't it?
Is he going to come back?
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be the same guy? You know, he's operating in a space where he wasn't just a good player for the team. Like, he was a great player for the league. And so now it's a national conversation. Now it's nationally, will he be able to come back? What's Aiden Hudson, all the commercials, everything, the career, the trajectory. He kept his head down. He stayed and he worked. He grinded, threw it all, and now he's come back to be the staple for this defense. So hats off to him, and I want to just see where it goes. Kind of long for the ride.
Many people would expect him to have an absolute monster day against Cincinnati, who gave up 3 sacks last week. And Denver's a really good team. You know, Denver gets after the quarterback. Jake Browning is not Joe Burrow. It's not that Joe Burrow. It's not that Joe Burrow is elusive like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or even Jalen Hurts. But what it is it's about the timing aspect, right? Yeah. It's about his ability to get rid of the football at the right time compared to Jake Browning. You would expect Aiden Hutchinson and others to have pretty big days against the Bengals, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. I expect it's going to be another one of those games, and that's why I said it's going to be interesting to see what the Chiefs game looks like.
Yeah.
But this should be a good game for this defensive line. It should be another one of those games where they get after it, get to the quarterback, and the field position game for the offense will be an easy one. Look for them to obviously double and triple. Look for somebody else to have a day. Look for the right side to have a day, or excuse me, not the right side. Look for the side where Aiden isn't, because we know Aiden likes to move around a lot, which I love to see. I hated that they kept him in one spot for the first 2 years. Just keeping him in one spot, it's predictable. It's easier to block. It's easier to keep a guy down to 12 sacks versus 18, 19, 20. Like TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, the guys with the big number sacks. Trey Hendrickson, they move around.
Yeah.
And some of those guys play some linebacker positions. Some, they even move to D-tackle and then work within that. You got to be able to do more at the line of scrimmage if you want to become a DPOY.
It never was like that. No. Lawrence Taylor stayed in the same spot. Bruce Smith stayed in the same spot. Richard
Field
Dent
boundary,
yeah, for the most part. Okay. I love the freedom and the trust. We always talk about trust as a big word in sports and life, but I love the fact that they trust him enough to pick the proper side, not for himself, but for his defense.
And that's key. what you just said, that's a bar. And the reason why it's a bar is I saw this when I was in the AFC North. I saw it with Troy Polamalu. The Pittsburgh Steelers let him do whatever the hell he wanted to. And to be honest, the highlights of what Troy messed up, they never show you because of how great he was, and rightfully so, and because of how much success he was, and because there's plays like him on the goal line, jumping over at the right time and catching Phillip Rivers and sacking him. He had a lot of plays where he missed because they gave him the freedom, because they trusted he was going to do what was best for the team and not himself, and that's true. And that's the same way Aiden Hudson. Aiden's not going there. Remember Chase Young?
Sure.
And the reason why we didn't bring Chase Young in, the word out of Washington, which is the same word of Ohio State, he's just doing what he wanted to do. He's going to go in there. He's going to try and get a sack. And if he can't, he's not going to do anything. And he will get in other people's way doing something that isn't scheme.
Gotcha.
Aiden's not that guy. And that's how you have this kind of – I didn't mean to make it Ohio State, Michigan, but I guess I just did. That's how you have this type of success. You know what I'm saying?
Detroit's at 3-1. I know there are some teams unbeaten, Buffalo specifically, Philadelphia specifically. You could make the argument right now that Detroit is playing the best football of any team in the National Football League, only because, and I'm not taking anything away from Philadelphia, but they needed a large comeback to beat the Rams. They almost blew the game against Tampa, and Buffalo was exposed, probably too strong of a word. They struggled with the Saints last weekend. I know Detroit's got a loss, but in their 3 wins, pretty handily. You could make a case they're at least a top 3 team, don't you think, in the National Football League right now?
If I'm just looking at football and not records, Buffalo's secondary and their lack of a number 1 wide receiver or a receiver that you consistently trust, they've had like some plays. I mean, Khalil Shakir, how many times are you gonna have lucky plays like that?
Yeah.
Like they're depending on things like they're depending on Josh Allen and James Cook. That secondary, a lot of holes in the secondary, and then not having a prime wide receiver. I don't like that for them. I think Detroit is better than them right now. I think the Lions are a better team than them right now. Just what I've seen on football. The Eagles do this every year.
You said something to me yesterday.
Where you're like, they're undefeated. But
you said something that really made me think. Because I look at Philadelphia and I see that talent, and I think there's a ton of it. But you said to me, dude, they don't go downfield.
No, they don't. They don't.
And that stuns me. And you're absolutely right. But when you have, when you have Goddard and you have Smith and you have A.J. Brown, and, of course, Saquon Barkley, I'm surprised they don't. Why do you think they don't more often?
Don't get me started. I don't want to talk about your boy. I don't want to talk dog your boy Jalen Hurts. This is just the type of football they play. It's a muddy brand of football. Like, they've played that. Like, they have some success in big games.
Yeah, he's had huge games against Patrick Mahomes.
And outside of those huge, and in between those huge games are 7 games like last week.
Yeah.
There's 7 games where he's going to rush for 40. They're probably going to have a total of 190, 200 rushing yards, passing yards. He'll be under 180, and they'll figure it out. At least last year, they had Devontae Smith and Goddard figured out. Like, they had that kind of understood. So they get some balls down the field, but they were to Devontae Smith or in the middle of the seams. Not necessarily this year. So it's kudos. They're 4-4, but Saquon doesn't look like Mr. 2K. Like Lane Johnson being hurt, I think it weighs heavy on them a lot. That's been a big deal. And them not having Darius Slay and Cooper DeJean to play at the 3-way. Now Cooper can just come in and be the beneficiary of that defense. Cooper DeJean's been getting cooked.
Mm-hmm.
He's been getting cooked in certain situations. So they're still working on some things, which is why I'm not heavy on them. But I wasn't heavy on them last year, and you see what they did in the Super Bowl.
We told you just yesterday, Detroit leads the league in scoring. They are tied for the league lead in sacks. They also lead the league in points per game margin at 12.3. That means they are taking care of business. And I don't mean a Backman Turner Overdrive song. I'm talking about they are taking care of business. And at the beginning of the year, and I think we were fair to criticize, we didn't jump the ship and say, this is over. They can't duplicate what they've done over the last 2 years. All we said was, here's the big concern. The concern is ... against Green Bay. They have fixed that.
Yeah.
And they have beaten, I hate the phrase they've beaten teams they're supposed to beat, but they have beaten teams by being more physical and looking like they have the last 2 years. I think that's fair to categorize that.
100%. Not even just beating teams they're supposed to beat, like they're looking like they're supposed to look against them. I mean, there's a little bit of a spell in there in the Cleveland Browns game, but ladies and gentlemen, that's football. Like that's every Sunday, things like that happen. But they've looked like the team that we wanted them to look like this season. They blew up the Baltimore Ravens, they're still reeling from that game. You don't believe me? Just look what they looked like last week. They blew out the Chicago Bears. Bad team, so what? They beat them 52-10. Or 52-14, 52-10. So, like, that's what it was supposed to look like in this last game against the Browns. Ugly for a minute, but you got a special teams touchdown. You got some on the defensive side. You see what you have in the middle. Like, you see your big guy, Aiden Hutchinson, is coming back. So, they have looked like they are supposed to look in the last 3 games, and they've actually looked better, you know, in my opinion.
I got a couple of questions for you that I want to get to, and then we've got Braylon's top 7 players.
Braylon was working today. I know this I'm allergic to work, but that's a crack.
You're always working. That doesn't surprise me. But just the top 7 players at the quarter pole for the Lions. We'll get to all that coming up here on the Braylon Edwards Show after this from Black Rock.
Hey,
good food means good times.
Appreciate that, man. You see that right there? That's that steak and lobster for $19.99. And then you see above the left to the yellow, yes, it is a limited time deal. Remember, the steak and lobster, it's not going to be there forever, but while it's there, take advantage. Go try it out because it hits, man. And once again, 755-degree volcanic rock. That's how you cook your steak.
That's hot.
Man. You put it right in front of yourself. Don't worry. They got you covered, though. Also, why don't you get some of Braylon's beef? No. Not like that. I'm talking about the 20-ounce hand-cut New York strip. This is a steak for you. I picked the New York strip because it's the one that I wanted you to enjoy. Feast like a beast. And you do it with Braylon's beef. Also, the $14.99 fish and chips. To put it this way, they got a great menu for you.
They do.
You come down to Black Rock. They will get you right. And also, if the Lions win, you win. When the Lions win, you get a free appetizer at Black Rock. I'm telling you, not everybody treats you like Woodward Sports, and not everybody treats you like Black Rock Bar and Grill. Still sizzling.
My stomach is growling right now, and my hair's too long too, I might add. So I need a haircut pretty quick. Lady Jane's wicked awesome. It's the place to go, man. The guys, you come in, you sign in, boom. Next thing you know, you're in the chair, you're having a nice conversation, you get a perfect haircut, and you're out the door. Time is valuable. You know that. So do they. Lady Jane's is open 7 days a week, 10 till 8. They're going to take care of you because you are the most important person as soon as you walk through those double doors. They've got locations all over the state of Michigan, 26, 28 locations throughout the state. They're all over the country. Why? Because they're wicked awesome.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Lamar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Are you looking for the ultimate pickleball experience? Well, hey, listen up here. Check out Wicked Pickle. It's Metro Detroit's hottest indoor pickle spot, all right? With 10 climate-controlled courts, daily open play for all levels, and a chill lounge with TVs, ping pong, cold drinks. Yo, that's actually sounding kind of nice right now, man. It's always game on, rain or shine.
Are you good at ping pong?
No. I can't even lie. You know what?
All right.
We're not lying, right? I'm not. I can't do that.
Yeah, keep it
but
real.
I will try. Throwing a party or a team event, they host groups from 10 to 200 people.
Wow.
Don't miss the APA Michigan Gold Cup, November 22nd through the 23rd. Sign up at pickleballtournaments.com. Scan that QR code as well above my head, all right? And mark your calendars for the Woodward Sports Pickleball Party, January 9th. Details coming soon. I actually can't wait for that. I can't wait for that, man. Scan that QR code.
Braylon says he's really good at ping pong.
I am. I love ping pong.
If you are looking
Table tennis.
If you are looking to upgrade your relaxation game, especially with the way the Tigers are hitting with runners in scoring position, check out Massage Chair House up in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. The largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Hey, we back.
This might be the moment for the Tigers, just so you know. Tied at 1 in the 7th. Runners at the corners, nobody out. And Torkelson pops out, and that's what Ryan was referring to. The freak-out meter will run rampant. Right now, Detroit is 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 8 yesterday. So even if they win this game, okay, you've got to be honest with yourself and recognize that's a deep concern. Period. Okay, it's a deep concern. Cleveland just went back to the bullpen. Back on the Braylon Edwards Show, Monday through Friday, 2 till 4 here on Woodward Sports. We're at the quarter point. We played 4 games. Detroit looks really good. They're 3-1. Did you guys break it up into quarters like a lot of teams do? Let's take a look at the first 4 games, the next 4 games. Try to win each quarter as associated with football. Do you ever have a coach who did that?
Yeah, majority of the coaches that I had, Roman Cornell did it that way the first couple years. Eric Mangini was like that. I left at the quarter part for his team, but he was like that. Rex was like that.
Why did they do it that way?
I think it gives you a good gauge because, 4-game window is to see, when you're taking the next steps as opposed to game by game or, because I think it's like you said, Shep, when you're doing it game by game, you can go up and down and panic and, oh, my God, we played terrible, this is that, and then the next game is a good one. So now you continue to do that, even if you're a head man, even if you're an experienced coach or an experienced player. I think when you just look at it through that lens, it allows you to get through those 4 games. And what does those 4 games look like? Because how I am in 4 games is not maybe that first game, or it's not maybe that one blow-up game. And then you're able to continue to stack. Right now the Lions are 3-1, and they're operating, for the most part, exactly how they want to be. It's a couple things to clean up. But at this quarter mark for them, they're playing some really good football, and they're arguably, if not the best team in the league, they're in the mix with 4 other names or so. So
would you agree with this? I heard a coach tell me one time, a former Lions coach, part of the reason they do it is because they want the season to feel shorter.
Yeah.
Okay. Suddenly you win the first quarter. Okay, we're into the second quarter.
Gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, it gives you something to look forward to. That's why I asked you earlier today. This all comes full circle. Are you a short goal or a long-term goal type of guy? And you said both. So I'm sure a lot of coaches are feeling the exact same thing. So we're at the quarter pole.
Yeah.
Detroit's 3-1. They look really good in a lot of different areas. They look like a completely different team after beating Cleveland than they looked after losing to Green Bay. Let's look at your top 7 players on the Lions right now.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you've come to a conclusion, this who's great, who's not. You're talking about the top 7 players of so far through 4 games of Detroit's campaign.
100%. Obviously, like I said, this will rotate. This will change. In 4 weeks, we'll come back. We'll have a whole other situation rocking and rolling for you. But let's get it started. Kool-Aid started with number 7, so that's where we'll start. Number 7 is Jack Campbell. I think Jack Campbell maybe could have been a little higher, maybe 5, 6, 7, but I'm leaving where he's at number 7. He's got a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. He's got a sack. He leads the team in tackles, which he did each of the last year. Alex Anzalone led it 2 seasons ago.
He's got 35 tackles. He's the only player in the league to have that stat line that you just talked about.
Yeah, 100%. And, oh, by the way, he has 2 tackle for losses with that. He's a consummate pro. He's there. We broke down his play the defensive play against the Baltimore Ravens, and you saw him be disciplined. That's a major thing for him, is being disciplined. He's gotten better and better. He'll move up throughout this. I definitely believe that, but right now he's a 7, and that's where I'm going to keep him. Number 6, sorry, big guy, you didn't make the top 5. You know he's my guy. You know I was trying to find a way. Yeah. I was trying to find a way to get Brian Branch to the top 5. Just couldn't do it based on how other people were playing, but it's a long season. Like you said, this is quarter 1. 5 pass deflections, a forced fumble, 22 tackles, and he has a quarterback hit as well. He also has a sack. I think he has a sack. I could be wrong on that.
He does.
But yeah, he has a sack as well. Like, he's playing some great ball. He has 2 dropped interceptions, which count as pass deflections. So DBs are always lucky in that regard. Like, it's like you drop a pick and say, "Oh, you had a pass." Like, no, you dropped the ball. Right. Like, you have a drop pick.
That's a good point.
Like, that should count as a stat.
Yeah.
But this is my guy. You know how I feel about him. He will move up. He's playing some great ball. And then usually in times where they need him is when you see him. They haven't necessarily needed him in the last 3 games. You see it what that defense has been. It's been a wrecking ball, and they beat teams into submission. But when they do need him, you saw in the Green Bay game when they needed a play. Guess what? Guess who made a play? It didn't stand because of a penalty, but he made a play. You saw the Baltimore game. Here he is again making another play when the team needs it. He's still done that, and I feel like I'm talking myself back into having him in the 5. But I'm going to leave him at 6 because I don't want to be a biased homer. Number 5 deserves to be at number 5, and he's not higher because he hasn't really got rocking and rolling all the way like we know he will at some point this year. But Jameer's still doing his thing. 271 yards of rushing, 4 touchdowns, which is a touchdown a game. But here's the kicker, 20 catches for 79 yards. Want to see more yards. If you're getting 20 catches, that goes back to game 1 where you have 10 catches for 34 yards. Want to see him do more with the ball out of the backfield. That's what we were promised this year. If I'm being honest, one of the things we were promised, we will see Jahmyr Gibbs in some more receiver-like sets. Haven't seen him yet, but I'm not tripping.
But the receptions are pretty good receptions through 4 games. 10 came in 1 game, as you pointed out earlier in the show.
This is true, but Jahmyr Gibbs runs 4.2. Like, you get 20 catches, you need more than 79 yards.
Right.
And he has no receiving touchdowns as well. So 5 is good for him. We know that he'll take off, but we're waiting for it. Okay. Gibbs, number 5. Number 4, the best pocket passer since Tom Brady. He could be a little higher, but I think 4 is what we will keep Jared Goff for this one. Look, he's been an outstanding leader in the last 3 weeks. Even didn't have a necessarily bad game in game 1. It was a team bad game. He was decent, 22 of 28, 225 yards, a pick and an interception. But through the last 3, man, he's 73.8% in the league. That's tops, 929 yards, 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. But the big thing I wrote down is he's maneuvering better in the pocket this season. Like, if you watch him this year, it's almost as if he's gotten – Ryan, do me a favor, and I know this is unprofessional. Turn that off a little bit so that people can hear me clearly, if you will. It almost seems as though he's been working out on speed dynamics or working out a little bit on movement in the pocket. You know the one drill they do where they'll have the bags and they keep hitting the quarterback's arms and doing that. Seems like he's been doing a lot of that in the offseason because he's moving at the right time. Yeah. Tom Brady didn't run for anything.
Right.
But Tom knew how to move when the time came for it. Tom knew how – this is the moment. This is where it's going to hit and anticipate. He's done that well. And the last thing I wrote down is Leading. He is leading the charge. You see him at the press conference.
Why do you always spell that out and make me think Leading?
He's leading the charge. He's leading the offense. Like, he doesn't need you-know-who. This is his offense, and he's operating as such. And Dan Campbell talking about giving people the space. He's giving him as well as Johnny Moore. This is his offense.
Dude, you said it so well yesterday.
He speaks for behalf of the team.
You said he has become so much more vocal and so much more, I would say, relaxed, is I think how you said it yesterday. It's a really good point about him that needs to be brought up more. Go
ahead. Even how he plays with the media now, even how he trolls them, like it's – it's a confident, comfortable troll, but he's not doing the most to do it.
It's not mean-spirited.
100%. He's not doing the most. How about those coordinators now? That's just a little jab just to let you know I remember, but also I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But we are kicking, and taking names. So he's number 4 on this list, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I guess I'll just run through them all. Number 3, you guessed it, the big fella. Now, once again, you can go up. You can move down. I think 3 is a good spot for him right now. No sacks in game 1-4. Since then, he's figuring it out. He's gotten back to what we saw in terms of the explosiveness, the dynamicness that he was at the start of last season. You're starting to see that he's confident. He's smiling. When you see Aiden get double-teamed and smiling, that's a sign of this is it. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to get back to. So I talked about him enough. You're going to see that get clipped. You'll see that on our socials. This guy is coming back into form. 97 is – he's doing the things that we want to see coming to the season, and that's why he is now the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, like I said he would. Although he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year too. Comeback Player of the Year too. Number 2, no surprises. It's the big fella. No sacks given up this season. We talked about the offensive line after game 1. They have gotten it back together. Shout out to Tate Rowledge as well as Graham Glasgow Mahogany. And then, shout out to Taylor Decker because he handled his with Myles Garrett last week. The times I saw him in there with Myles Garrett for an old fellow with a couple of injuries, a little banged upness, he showed you why he's a Pro Bowler, and he shows you why he's the oldest tenured Lion on this staff. Kudos to him. But the big fella makes it work, man. No sacks given up this year. He is explosive, dynamic. And the Baltimore Ravens game, 99.93 was his grade out, the highest grade out.
Is that good?
You know what? At the end of the day, yes. 99.93, even for Pro Football Focus, I would have to say they did something right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is amazing. 99.93, the highest rating they've ever given. And it's deservingly so. He's now gotten to space. We believe Panay might be the best offensive lineman in the league, and he is leading a line. You're seeing how they're operating. Jared Goff hasn't been sacked in 3 weeks. Jared Goff has time. He's able to step up and do the things that people make the comparison about Tom Brady. So Panay, the big fella, he's holding down the 2 spot. We'll see what happens in 4 more weeks. And number 1, I don't think it should have been any question from the time we started this list. It is Amon-Ra St. Brown. 27 catches, 307 yards, 6 touchdowns through 4. First time this has been done since, you guessed it, the Super Freak, a.k.a. Randy Moss. Just like Jared Goff, he's a leader. He does it all. He does everything. He does the dirty work, which is why he's also able to have a touchdown, actually more than a touchdown a game, probably about 1.4 or so touchdowns a game. He's doing his thing. He is a leader of the team, and like you said, Shep, he holds grudges. And that's what been his motivation and allow him to propel.
It's a really good list. We differ slightly, okay? Not that we were able to put mine up here, but I number 1, I have Penei Sewell. I think he's the best player on this team. I think he's the best lineman in the National Football League. I don't care what position you're looking at. I think he's the best there is. I have him at 1. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 2. So we're splitting hairs here. We're just swapping 1 and 2. 3, I have Jared Goff ahead of Aiden Hutchinson. What Jared Goff has done, his precision, the ability to read the right coverages like he's always been really good at, and his ability to hit guys in stride has been super impressive. And as you mentioned a number of times, leadership. Then I have Aiden Hutchinson. So you and I just have 3 and 4 swapped. You have 1 and our 1 and 2 swapped, our 3 and 4. At 5, I have Jack Campbell because of all the numbers you just gave. I have Jack Campbell as a guy who has really taken the green dot to heart. So I've got him at 5. Then I have Brian Branch, who he's both of us. He's one of our favorite players. I think he can play better.
I agree. That's why I got him at 6.
Yeah. So I've got him at 6, and I'm going to surprise you at 7. I cheated a little bit. I combined. I want a combination. I went Derek Barnes and DJ Reader. I took them together. I didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs in my top 7 because I think he can play better, but I also think, the one game where David Montgomery against Baltimore with 151 yards, it's hard to ignore that. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I love the combination. This is nowhere do when we start doing these types of rankings is it a slight on anybody on that team. Yeah. It's just you got to pick 7 guys. Again, I cheated. I picked 8, but I tied 7. Derek Barnes has really impressed me. And DJ Reader, and you brought it up last week, you brought it up Monday. After the Cleveland game, how impressed you've been with
I said
his
it today,
ability.
actually.
Yeah. So, you've doubled it down on it.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
And you're right about it. So, I think it's the fun thing about this, Braylon, is that there's a lot of guys that we can choose from because they are playing so well. And that's a really fun position to be in when you're talking about the National Football League, knowing the ebbs and flows that we have with this game. All those guys playing together has been so entertaining to watch. They really are one of the more fun teams to watch in all of football.
Yeah, I agree. No pushback at the end of the day. I would just say for Jack Campbell, he's doing amazing. I just want to, outside of one play against Baltimore, like my thing with Jack Campbell, and it's really me just being petty. It's one of those things. He has the silent stats. Like, he has the silent stats. Like, you have to legitimately go back, watch film to understand the impact of Jack Campbell. Like, it's one of those things. Like, when you look at the stat sheet, you're like, wait, what? When did this happen?
How did he have 12 tackles?
I want to see more plays made by him. He has a sack. I want to see him get home a little bit more. I want to see some of the bigger plays happen because he's that player. Like, it goes back to what we talking about. Once you show yourself, like, my expectations for Jack Campbell have gone up. Like, I think he's one of those linebackers in the league. So I just want to see just a little bit elevated play. He's nothing wrong has he done.
Yeah.
I just want to hear him more. I want to know he's out there a little bit more.
Why do we trust this team, do you think? I was reading an article yesterday about which teams you trust and which you don't. So, for example, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's 3-1.
Yeah.
Do you trust them? Yes or no? Kool-Aid, do you trust Jacksonville? Probably not.
Hell no.
Okay. Yeah. Hell no, because, well, first of all, their head coach is brand new. Second of all, Trevor Lawrence hasn't given you any reason to.
No.
And thirdly, I mean, a lot of people feel like, that Travis Hunter has not been the impact player they thought you would, but they're 3-1 and they don't play in a great division either. All right. Kansas City, 2-2. Do you trust them right now? You do. Okay. So with the Lions, I think most people, you and I, would probably agree, we trust them. Why do you think that is?
It stems with talent. First of all, the trust always stems from talent. You must have talent for a team to trust you. You can't just be a bunch of ragtag guys playing together and you're playing well. No. You got to have some guys at key positions that can play. Key positions. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. Taylor Decker as well as Panea doing that well. Got to be able to run the football. Need I say more? You got to have explosive players in the offense in your skill set. You got that. On the other side of the ball, you got to be able to get to the quarterback. What are they doing? They lead the league, and they got a guy that should finish, in my estimation, as Defensive Player of the Year. They have a head coach, and his track record. It's Dan Campbell and his track record. Now let's go back. Why do I trust the Lions? Because starting in 2022, when they finished 9-8 after a mean 8-2 in the last 10 games, like from then on, they proceed to go 8-2 there, just missed the playoffs. Yeah. They then go 12-5, won the North, got to the NFC Championship. They proceed to go 15-2 with a ton of injuries, win the NFC Championship. Win the NFC in the regular season, get a bye. Obviously, we know how that ended. And then in the offseason this year, when all was made about this guy leaving, that guy leaving, did they draft right? Did they prepare on this side? All the questions and all the talk, all the negativity surrounding a team that had just lost with a home field advantage, rightfully so. We're 3-1.
Yeah.
They're coming in, they're 3-1, and they're doing all the things that you hope they could do, that you wish they could do, or that you said they couldn't. They're doing it all, and they're doing it better, with my opinion. So that's why I trust the Detroit Lions, because I trust the head man. That's why we brought that conversation up about Dan Campbell. At some point, you got to trust the guy, because the record is the record. The numbers are the numbers, and the numbers haven't lied about Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions.
So I think there's two things in sports where you are willing to trust, and the trust or willing to buy in. It's if you gain the trust, if the head man, manager or coach, and like you said, they got talent. If you have that combination, it's really hard to screw it up. Yeah, you trust Dan Campbell and his staff, but primarily Dan Campbell, and you trust the talent. We've just got 7 guys here on our back wall. 7. St. Brown, Sewell, Hutchinson, Goff, Gibbs, Branch, Campbell.
By the way, all Pro Bowlers and 3 All-Pro.
Yes, and all 7 of those guys, you could add to it twice as many. On guys who have been really good. Like I gave you 2 guys that I think would be in that conversation so far. You mentioned Taylor Decker. Graham Glasgow, according to PFF, is the 6th best center in the National Football League over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
He didn't even like playing center.
And that was not his favorite position.
Funny.
Kool-Aid, let's get to some chats and some super chats. I know they've been piling in.
I'm just laughing like, just let this sink in. You said it. I'm going to just name it. So this is the 7.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, 3 All-Pros in there, 7 Pro Bowlers. Now here's the list underneath. You got Jamison Williams that hasn't got cooking yet. You know what he did last year? You got Sam Laporta. You remember what he did 2 years ago, who's actually playing decent for the balls, like the opportunities that he's getting. Kirby Joseph has 2 interceptions, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Kirby Joseph has 2 interceptions. Derek Barnes is playing really well. So to your point, these are still guys that we haven't mentioned. That's how good they're playing in that offense. David Montgomery, he's going to come alive.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
He's healthy again.
Yeah.
He will come alive. Yeah. So 100%. This is why you trust the Detroit Lions. It's the same reason when during the season people were talking about Tigers versus other teams. Mm-hmm. A lot of reasons why other people didn't trust the Tigers is because the names, the guys in the clutch, the big names. Well, your Lions have those names.
Yeah. Great point. Okay. Some super chats. I know there's been some in there for a while, but let me just
We've
say
been cooking
this.
today.
Let me just say this. Kool-Aid has been bouncing back and forth between a couple of booths, so that's the reason I wanted to wait just a little bit longer. Almost like I wish Javier Baez would wait a little bit longer on a slider, but he doesn't. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? We won't go to commercial break, but definitely tell the people about Sharon. And then
yes.
I'll get those super chats.
You know, it's all about family, right? I mean, we always talk about the family that we have here at Woodward Sports, and it's a lot of fun, and we like to take friendly jabs at one another, but Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning is all about family, too, and that's welcoming you into their family. They treat you like that. They've been doing it for over 40 years in Metro Detroit and making sure, look, we all know the home is the most important and most costly experience you go through, all right, investment that you have. Well, Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning understand that. So they offer heating, they offer cooling, indoor air quality, water heaters, whole home generators. It's like a one-stop shop with great professionals taking care of you. And right now, DTE gas customers get a free furnace tune-up through December 1st. How do you take advantage of it? Just scan the QR code or call 734-238-3839 and tell them the Braylon Edwards Show sent you.
And we are back. And you
That's
know what?
Top 7, man. It's a good conversation.
Yeah, really good conversation.
Hey, it's so funny because before when you talk about Detroit Lions back in the day, you're doing this list like, it's some good players, but you're really trying to find 7 out of not 7 players. Like
Dude, you and I would have had the same 7.
100%, because it would have been a strong 2.
Yeah, and then you're reaching. That's not the way it is. It's like Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford,
and sometimes people would say Stafford based on 100%.
Yeah, and that's about it, right? You would have to reach, say, you know what, Shep? I really think
DeAndre Levy.
Yeah, DeAndre Levy's been really good. Dominic Raiola has had a good first 4 games.
Golden Tate would have been up there.
Golden Tate might have been up there. Yeah. Brandon Pettigrew at times might have been up, though. Unfortunately for Marcus Pollard, not so much. Go ahead.
All right, let's get this first one. I'm seeing a whole bunch of fire emojis in the chat, too. So
Sean Rogers.
While you guys are at it, go on ahead and smash that like button if you didn't get the opportunity to. I thought Braylon was absolutely cooking up today, man. Braylon's breakdown, the top 7. He was in his bag, and these are things that I know he was like excited and ready to bring to the table, and the timeline, the breakdown of Aiden Hutchinson. So, you guys, if you didn't get the opportunity to see that, make sure you go back to the beginning of the show and tap in. Randall Smalls, he has the #1 crown right now for our top fans in the chat. Shout out to Randall Smalls. He says, best guy on the board, and this was when you guys were talking a little bit earlier. He says, so how did Brad pass on Shedeur Sanders?
I'll let Shep handle it.
Obviously, he wasn't their best guy on their board.
He wasn't the best guy on a lot of people's
boards. The belief is that Joe Flacco is going to be benched and Dylan Gabriel starting for Cleveland this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not even the best guy in his locker room.
Well, you know what concerns me? I don't know the young man.
I want to see him play.
You know, he was. I want to see him play. He had some pretty good stuff at Colorado. Not necessarily winning with this, oftentimes associated with other quarterbacks, but for some reason, not him because it's Deion Sanders' son. But I do wonder when a guy says I don't want to be drafted by a specific team, Baltimore. We took shots at John Elway for it. We took shots at Eli Manning for it, and for good reason. He don't want to be drafted by Baltimore because of Lamar. That, to me, was very odd. I don't know what kind of player he's going to be. Obviously, Brad Holmes did not think he was the best player on their board, so they had other needs, and they chose to go that route. I don't think they've lost anything so far, and I'm probably not losing sleep over it.
Yeah, I don't have anything on the matter. I will say nobody said anything to John Elway about what he was going to do. No one gave him flack for it either.
Oh, yes. It was constant flack.
I disagree.
Ask Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw's on camera saying, You want to go play baseball? Get the hell out of here. We don't need players like you in the National Football
That's
League.
Terry Bradshaw. Nobody cares what a player has to think. But did the media say something? Did writers say something? Was it on that level? Was it on that line?
It was. The media is not as prevalent back then as it is now, of course.
The Eli Manning situation, I also beg to differ. Because it was one man's father who made a conversation, and nobody ever said anything about Arch Manning not wanting his son to play in the same conference as his other son because they would never get a chance to play in the Super Bowl. If that was even in fact, why?
Yeah. There was a lot of pushback on John Elway. A ton.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep it up.
Hey, definitely. We have Python Knight, number 2 crown today in the chat.
Python Knight.
Yeah,
Okay.
the $5 super chases. I know this is a Detroit sports show, but I'd love some time on the Jets to hear everyone's thoughts on what's going on with Aaron Glenn and his current team. So they must know, obviously. We got
Well, Bray was at
Braylon
training
over
camp
here.
earlier this year, and he knows Aaron Glenn really well.
B-R-A-Y. Bray.
Yeah, I appreciate. You're funny. It's just gonna take time, Aaron Glenn, and unfortunately, he's not gonna have a lot of time. It's gonna take time to get all the guys on the same page. They look better. When I was at training camp, they were buying in. I got a chance to talk to Tyrod Taylor on the sideline, as well as Braylon, Allen, Garrett Wilson, and they like Aaron Glenn. They like what he represents. They like how he calls people out and holds them accountable. So I think it will get better. Problem is when you inherit a team that already has some guys that are staple pieces, sometimes those guys aren't with your program. No matter what you are, especially if you're coming in, like you saw Aaron Glenn he's a little intense. He's a little aggressive. You saw the conversation with Aaron Rodgers before he even started, in the offseason. So a lot of times guys don't resonate with that. And guys, so if you're getting pushback, you can see it translate on the field. So give him a second to cycle those guys out that don't want to play for the Jets, that don't want to be a part of what he's building. We had to cycle some guys out of Detroit as well when Dan Campbell first got here. So give it a second to cycle those guys out. Also, he still don't have a quarterback. Like, I don't care how many times you keep forcing Justin Fields in my face. Like, he's not the guy. Hey, he is not the guy, especially to bring a franchise back that has not had a quarterback since Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah.
Like, so
he's the guy this year, but he's not the guy long term, is what you're saying. I love Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
I think if given the opportunity, I think he's going to get it done. The problem with the Jets, you educated us yesterday about, Woody Johnson and their owner meddling as much. They're not patient, and maybe sports in general isn't patient anymore. Braylon, I don't know, but are they going to be patient enough for him to get the right guys? And he'll be able to identify the right guys. Will they be patient enough to let him get the right guys there?
I would say I hope so, but if you ask me, like if you legitimately say, give me an answer, I don't think so.
You know what people are going to complain about, though. I mean, why are we going with guys? Robert Saleh is one of them.
Defensive coordinators?
Who are first-time head coaches. And your argument could easily be, well, wait a minute. You've had other guys who were former head coaches and it hasn't worked. So why do it? I'm not going to go back to the Rich Kotite era. I'm just saying I think that's a franchise, and maybe it's the city. You would know because you played there. They're not patient the way a team like Detroit would be.
But who are like the old school coaches that are coming back and actually having some success? I mean, I know Dan Quinn did it last year. Right. But outside of that, like, who are the guys that you would go to and say, all right, we need to revamp this. We need to get – because I give you an example. The Las Vegas Raiders, they said we're going to bring in Pete Carroll. This is the guy that's won the Super Bowl. We know the cachet. Yeah, he's a little old, but he's the youngest 74-year-old that you will ever see. That's the conversation you have, right? The team looks horrible.
Yeah.
That team looks bad. Ashton Genty finally found a big game, but that team looks bad. Is that what you want in New York?
Would it be a guy like Mike Vrabel?
Yeah,
that ilk is what I'm saying.
I wanted Vrabel. I like Vrabel. I like what he did in Tennessee. I think he did a lot with not a lot. In Tennessee, I give him a lot of credit for defense was tremendous, but Ryan Tannehill was his quarterback, and he was #1 seed in the AFC. Like, I give you a lot of credit for that. Yeah, Derrick Henry, so give him credit, but he wasn't coaching the Jets. He's a Patriot guy.
I'm sure there are people in New York who are complaining and saying, why can Detroit find a Dan Campbell? Why can the Vikings identify a Kevin O'Connell? Why in the world can Green Bay continue to find young coaches and then give them success?
Because those owners, they took the time to really vet the process.
Matt LaFleur,
They took the time to say who is going to fit into this place as our head coach, and who can we trust? And they built it out, and they interviewed until they got it right. And Sheila Hemp, we talked about it. She did a lot to figure out what she wanted this to look like. And other people that she hired, they had some say. And they hired Dan Campbell. They hired him before they hired the general manager. This was the guy after all the interviews. In fact, he was what, second interview?
Brad Holmes?
Yeah, no.
Dan Campbell? I don't recall.
That doesn't matter. Yeah. They took the time to pay attention to what was best for the team in the city. Woody Johnson and owners like that, sometimes what they do is they just listen for a hot name.
That's right.
They just listen for what the hot name is, and they don't take the time to, yikes.
Stephen Kwan hit a home run.
Yeah.
Tiger hit a four-seam 100-mile-an-hour
Tiger killer
for a home run. I mean, not known. I'm sorry. When Braylon goes, I had to react.
It was
sorry.
tough.
That was Brian Rocchio. It wasn't Stephen Kwan. I'm sorry. Brian Rocchio came off the bench. That's a good move by Stephen. Detroit. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to look at. They had first and third with nobody out.
Yeah.
They got a shallow fly ball from Spencer Torkelson, and then they got a strikeout and a strikeout. Right. So missed opportunities.
Yeah.
It's not unique. Did anybody watch the Yankees last night? Because I did. I watched the Yankees and Red Sox.
A little bit.
In the ninth inning, the Yankees loaded the bases. They had back-to-back-to-back singles. Stanton, Judge, Bellinger. Okay? Off Aroldis Chapman, who throws gas.
Hey,
all right?
He's got like 70% of the last 100 plus pitches. He's got like 70% of it.
It's nasty stuff. Who comes in? Strikeout, shallow fly ball to right, strikeout. Now, I think Aaron Boone overmanaged last night. I know this isn't a Yankee show, but
we were talking about the Jets, so rightfully so.
I think he definitely overmanaged. He pulled Max Fried after 102 pitches, I believe, after 7 1/3 by giving up a single. I thought it was stupid, and then he gave up the lead in the 7th inning, and suddenly it's 2-1 Boston. But these things are bound to happen, all right? And Troy Melton's a rookie. Before people go scorched earth and say, how can you bring a rookie in that situation, I would remind you that what Cleveland did today is they started.
That's Quan.
He just doubled. He just doubled. Boston, I should say Cleveland started. They brought up one of their best prospects in all of their organization. They started him in center. He had played right field in the minors, and Chase DeLauder made an error in the first inning. So it's a pretty interesting situation. Again, you and I talked about it yesterday. I thought it would go 3. Detroit's bullpen has been used a lot today. So has Cleveland. So it'll be very interesting tomorrow. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I got on a little bit of a rant there.
You know what? I do have one about Tyleik Williams. He's not getting a lot of noise, but you talk about what this defensive line is doing right now. Just wanted to ask you guys, what's your take on him? Because I see Tate Ratledge showing up everywhere. So this is my ask.
Braylon gave Williams a ton of noise 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
He does, but I'm looking all around. I'm like, I'm not seeing him pop up in nobody's rankings. I'm not seeing him pop up really in the top rookies. But you look at this defensive line, and we talk about what they're supposed to be when they get Aleem McNeil back.
Yeah.
Well, they're already one of the best right now, and he's playing in that interior, and we already know you make your money building on that inside out, and I believe that he deserves a little bit more. And you've been on it, bro.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct about Tyleik Williams, but it takes time. Like, he doesn't have major stats right now. Like, what he's doing for us, we see it. You know what I'm saying? The Lions see it. The teams that you play against, they see it. You know, the run stuffing, sticking his hands up with the 2 pass deflections against the Chicago Bears. So we see it, but, you know, he's got to do more if he wants some national praise, some national notoriety. Remember, before they start mentioning Lee McNeil's name, you know, it took him a second. It took him a while for them to talk about him. And then before the 2023 season, I think is when the article came out with the mutants or the freaks, super freaks or whatever it was. So, yeah, it takes a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? It's 4 games. You got to get some stats or a big play. Like, a big play will force them to, who's this big fella for the Lions? You know what I'm saying? What he's doing. So
yeah, he wasn't. In fairness, Lee McNeil wasn't a first-round pick. But to your point, look, you're going up against guys who just are you know, it's crazy the strength that they've got, right? And it's different with schemes.
Yeah.
There's an adjustment period. I mean, you've talked about that eloquently before about when you made the jump to the NFL. Anything else, Kool-Aid?
Oh yeah, definitely got a couple here.
Side note, Kool-Aid, my apologies.
No
you
problem.
you know what? Here's a perfect tease since you mentioned Tate Rowledge. Tomorrow's breakdown will be Tate Rowledge.
And
we already got the video. We're already ready to get that cracking.
And on top of that, why a guy like Tate Ratledge isn't being mentioned. Okay, we're going to have that conversation tomorrow. More football for you tomorrow as we get ready. And, of course, Dr. Jeffrey Pierce coming in right around 3:30 or so tomorrow. All right?
That's how it's supposed to be.
All right.
Man.
So that's something to look forward to tomorrow. Keep it going, buddy.
Definitely. We got James Ganella in the chat. He asks, Mailbag, do the Lions make any trades by the deadline? If so, what position?
DB. Like, I don't think they'll make a trade, realistically. They don't believe in trades. They don't like making trades. The only reason why they made a trade last year is because, Aiden Hutchinson was out. So they made a trade because of that. They're not trade makers. I don't see them making one. If they do, it's going to be a DB.
They value their picks. I think they will make a trade. I think if they could get somebody for, depending on the player, I believe if there's a regret, I haven't talked to Brad Holmes about this, but I think deep down inside there's like, you know what? Maybe I should have done something a little bit more last year. I think they will make a trade. How impactful it will be, I'm not sure. Depending on their health, let's see, where Muhammad is.
Yeah.
Let's see if Derek Barnes can stay healthy. Let's see how fast DJ Reed comes back. Terry and Arnold might be different. By the time you get to that trade deadline, it'll be either corner or defensive end, but I think they're going to do something. Yes, they're going to do something to address it.
And here's a fun one. Here's a fun one in the show. And it's a wide receiver related one, Brandon. Okay,
there we go.
Jordan Linehart, one of our supporters here, regulars, hashtag mailbag. Can you guys draw a comparison to Amon-Ra St. Brown from any of the wide receivers in the past for the Lions? Obviously, he's better, but, talking about the style of play.
I actually had a comparison I was talking about to my dad, my brothers, and my uncle, and they didn't like the comparison. I thought they were crazy, that they didn't understand what I was trying to do. I was saying that, Amon-Ra St. Brown reminds me of a mix between Antonio Brown and Hines Ward. Like, if you combine them for what they were, I think you can get that name pushed back. He's not as good as Antonio Brown.
You sent that to me too, and I
said,
agreed with it.
But it's not about him being better than Antonio Brown and what you believe. Like, we know Antonio's 7-year snapshot is ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous 7 years in the NFL, I think. But I'm talking about when you combine them with Hines Ward. So they gave me pushback on that. Now, if you want to talk about the Lions, no, because you would have to mix him with Golden Tate and somebody.
I was just going to say, and I'm mad at myself that the first name I thought of was Golden Tate.
Well,
you know
talking about the Detroit Lions, like, because he can run without the ball, he blocks, like, he's physical.
Yeah, physicality.
It's the same
man.
stature too.
But,
so I fall into a trap.
Right.
Why can't I compare him to Brett Perriman? Why can't I compare him?
You can if you want to.
No, I'm mad at myself because the first name I thought of was Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Okay, and we want to take big wide receivers and compare them to big wide receivers. We want to take white wide receivers and compare them to white wide receivers.
Fair.
We want to take slot receivers or smaller receivers and compare them to smaller receivers.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily fair to a guy, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He catches the ball as well as any Lions wide receiver we've seen here. I'm not saying he's Calvin Johnson because he doesn't have that speed, he doesn't have that size, he doesn't have that strength, but he catches the ball as well as anybody we've seen.
I'm not going to say that one online.
No, I'm not comparing.
It wasn't you. It was what I was going to say.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not anything you said.
All
I was going to say Amon-Ra's a better player than Calvin. That's neither here nor there.
Okay, but you did say that. You weren't going to say, but you did say. What I was going to say is that if you could take different aspects of his game, he blocks like parentheses.
Hines Ward.
Okay. He catches the ball like
Larry
dot, dot,
Fitzgerald.
dot. Okay. He runs routes like ... You would know that better than any of us.
He's like a Steve Smith type wideout too.
Okay, so we just in a nutshell, he just described Hines
Ward,
Amon-Ra St. Brown with 3 high-end players with different aspects and different attributes.
But then also, but you wouldn't be done. Like, and the other reason why you would say Hines Ward, listen, he is a much better wide receiver than Hines Ward. Hines Ward never made the Pro Bowl. Hines Ward, I get all that. Hines Ward was a football player. He played quarterback at Georgia. He would knock you out. He basically threw it. He threw a 60-yard touchdown pass down the road in the Super Bowl.
Come on, man.
He throws the ball. So, Hines Ward was a really good football player. He was someone the Steelers trusted. He was someone I would trust. I hated playing against him because I knew somewhere he would influence the game. He would infuse his not greatness, but how good he was, he would infuse it. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown, but at a higher level. And now you mix that in with hands. You mix that in with route running. You mix that in. This is how you get kind of like the gumbo for and what he is.
I like that.
You can't just
the gumbo.
You can't just do one player though. He's beyond that.
313 says he gave some love for Herman Moore.
Yeah.
Herm's got hands. Now, if you want to say hands, Herm didn't drop anything.
Yeah.
Herm didn't drop
Herm
anything.
had hands. He's one of the best Lions receivers of all time.
we got
I would say the three best, with all due respect to those in the Wayback Machine, the three best are Calvin Johnson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Herman Moore.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just my opinion.
And just one more super chat here. It just came in at the end, and it boosted this individual to number one in the chat. $5 super chat. He says, that guy Matt, at least Chris, I think he's referring to Illich, got us those nice Comerica Park front row seats because that's what matters most. And he puts the sunglasses emoji and a thumbs up. So shout out.
Chris Illich didn't do himself any favors by wearing earpods during the game the other day.
The way Bray was sipping the drink during that time.
Yeah, the optics.
I got nothing.
Yeah, the optics are not good. The optics are not good.
Sometimes less is more.
We might be talking more about some baseball tomorrow because right now the Guardians lead at 3-1, bottom of the eighth, with 2 runners on and 2 runners down.
bad.
We'll talk a lot of football tomorrow. We got another Braylon's breakdown. I know you can't wait for it. I can't wait for it either.
Yeah.
Dr. Jeffrey Pierce will join us as well. Hope you can. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody.
Appreciate you guys,
here
man.
on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports.
Braylon's breakdown. You better tell people about it.
Hold on.
I like that we stayed on.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown. Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep
Edwards has it. 10, 5, touchdown.
on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep,
Lamar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.